Brand new week here on Three Man Front. Pat, Landrum, Conrad, Molly, the whole gang's back in town. Ready to keep you informed and entertained, hopefully, for the next 4 hours. Thanks for tuning us in. How was the beach?
The beach was good. I really can't complain. It was nice weather. It was actually warmer here than it was down there.
Was it really?
Yeah. So it was nice.
Did you have a nice sea breeze?
Had a nice sea breeze. Didn't have any weather delays, which was good. It was some long days, but crowned some champions and grew the game. That's what it's all about.
You personally grew the game, volleyball.
I like to think that I did, yeah.
That is fantastic. Molly's back from her trip from Detroit. How was Detroit?
It was beautiful. It was rainy on Saturday.
Was it?
But it was pretty nice, though. It was like 60s, so not bad.
A lot of buzz with the Lions and the Tigers?
Oh, yeah, a lot of buzz with the Tigers, especially.
Mm.
Meanwhile, me and Conrad just kind of slummed around Central Alabama over the weekend. No jet setting for us.
Slummed around.
Yeah.
You had a beautiful photo with your family.
Well, thank you. We had a very, very nice Easter service yesterday morning, First Baptist Trustful.
Nice.
Got up early, 8 o'clock.
Okay. You went to the early.
Yes, 8 o'clock.
You had a nice pink tie.
Thank you.
Looked very nice.
Well, I appreciate that. And so,
real men can pull that off.
What time was your service yesterday?
So we actually did the church crawl, as we like to call it yesterday. We did yesterday morning, a local church here around where we live. We had our two nieces getting baptized.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
On
we
Easter Sunday.
Went there, and it was cool because a lot of my family members, they go to that particular church. And then we left that church and went to our church and worshiped there. And it was great. It was wonderful. It was an awesome day.
Fantastic. A lot of food had at the Smith household yesterday for lunch.
Why is Easter is that day? I mean, most holidays we indulge and sometimes we overindulge, but Easter seems like that time where you get a lot of casseroles, a lot of ham.
I was joking around. You know what I had for dinner last night? Of course, we had yesterday. We did sirloin tips.
Okay.
We did sirloin tips and ham and a bunch of other fixings, tons of desserts, things of that nature, stuff that you would not eat. And then last night I was just to the gill where I was just like, I'm popping a couple chicken fingers in the air fryer and that's my dinner.
Well, me and Dorothy did the same thing. We actually we got two little personal small pizzas from a local place, and it was really good. It's kind of vegged out.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Conrad
slumming around still.
Yeah.
Did you and Paige hunt eggs?
We did not. Bucky didn't put them out yet. But,
he's busy.
No, but it was nice. We had our church service outside because we have 3 services normally, but on Easter they only have 2. So to make room for everybody, they have to do it outside. So nice weather yesterday, and then went and ate with the family. So it was a good day.
Very nice. Well, we're here until 2 o'clock, so we'd love to hear from you today on Reaction Monday. We're wide open because we want to hear from you from the Easter weekend. A lot going on in the world of sports, from the transfer portal, what's happening there. The Stallions get a big win. The Braves, a 3-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins. They will begin a 3-game sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals starting tonight. You can hear the game right here at 6 o'clock on Jocks 94.5.
It's already started. Whatever. Come on.
No, Pat already gave me a whole... We talked about this for like 20 minutes this morning. He is dead set. It's over.
No, I'm not like Landrum was about a week ago.
No, but about this series, just with the timing.
Yeah,
and
just the timing and everything we were in New York over the weekend and we lose 4 in a row. We get swept. It's the first 4-game sweep against us since 2017. We've won 1 game on the road the entire season. We have the worst record on the road, and it's the worst first 10 games on the road in the history of the St. Louis Cardinal franchise that's been playing baseball for 200 years.
Well, the Braves have to be right there with you on the road, though, right?
They got a couple more than we do.
Okay.
We've got 1.
Well,
did I mention we only have 1?
Well, I hope that continues at least for the next 3 games.
So Schwelly's on the bump tonight going against Fetty.
Schwelle.
Doogie has been really good. That's his nickname. Verdugo.
Yeah, it goes 0 for, and then he went, 4 for 5 the next night?
He had a big Saturday, and then yesterday he was able to get some stuff done. But apparently he provides a lot of energy, and it's never boring in the clubhouse. You concur?
No, but I'm glad that it's working out for you guys.
All right.
Glad it's working out for you.
Who would have thought that was going to be the tinder to light the spark and the fire for Atlanta.
I know,
is
and I hate it
Verdugo.
because we were having so much fun making fun of it. Now we can't because he's actually contributing. So hey, good for him. I'm happy for him. But
Well, one thing's for sure, when you play the likes of the Twins and the Cardinals for the next 3 games, you hope to get the offense percolating. That's what happened yesterday. Matt Olson, Drake Baldwin hit two-run homers. You had Grant Holmes allowed only 1 run, and the Braves beat the Twins 6-2 to complete the sweep. That's the first winning streak of the season, and it came, as we mentioned, Verdugo's first 3 starts for the Braves. So Schwelly tonight, 2.55 ERA against Eric Fetty, who is 1-2 with a 3.43 ERA. Fetty was involved, and I always like to point this out because this is what ticks me off being a Cardinal fan the last couple of years, how bad the front office has like traded away our Fabergé eggs, you know, the guys that are really, really good. Because I'll bring this up, you know, we traded for Ozuna and gave up Zach Gallen, now Quintera. Can you imagine that? If we had those 2 dudes in our rotation, you know, for Marcell Ozuna. That, I mean, Ozuna didn't suck in St. Louis. Ozuna just couldn't play left field. And that was before the DH. And he was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
DH is perfect.
I mean, literally, they had to have the shortstop go out into the outfield when he would catch a fly ball to act as a cutoff man.
But the fact that he won a Gold Glove out
in
there
center field
is
for the
crazy.
Marlins. He was considered the better of the 3, the star outfielders of the Marlins.
I was about to say it was him, Yelich, and Giancarlo Stanton, right?
That was Michael Stanton back then.
Oh, sorry.
That was before he changed his
Let's be
name.
honest though. Besides the Cardinals, the Marlins fans have more to complain about as far as guys that got away.
Well, there's no question. And I bring this up is because we were involved in a 3-team trade to get Eric Fetty from the White Sox. In exchange, we traded Tommy Edman to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, gosh. Who's in charge of this? The guy that we passed out at Rickwood that you had some words for?
No, I talked to the owner. I did not. I probably would have had more. Well,
you would have been so nice if it was the GM instead of the owner.
Yeah, the GM would have been a completely different.
You would have had a stronger worded message.
Mayor Woodfin probably would have called me in his office on Monday after the game and said, "What are you doing? You're not being a good citizen of Birmingham. You can't do that.
No,
not
here. Our guest."
So Fetty's on the bump tonight. So we'll see how he does against the Braves. And as I mentioned, the Cardinals are league worst 1-9 on the road, and they're coming off a 4-game sweep. We tried. I mean, we lost 2 of our games, 1 in extra innings, another one lost by 1 run. So I mean, we played the Mets, but all of the Mets stars they delivered this weekend. Lindor.
Well, they got a bunch of them.
Polar Bear. We kind of held Soto in check. But
yeah, he's been a disappointment so far.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Hate to see him struggle.
Yeah.
But the other problem for the Braves is, so the Braves win 3 in a row, but you're still in last place and you picked up no ground.
I'm just glad we don't have the worst record. Colorado, will they win 20 games this year?
Oh, God, they're so bad.
They've won 3 games.
Well, they got those new uniforms. They look really good.
This is true. Do you and your parents, since your parents are Braves fans, do you talk during the 3-game series? You communicate?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
No, my parents asked me yesterday. They were over at the house and they asked me, "So you going over to the game?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going over to the game."
No.
Why would I do that? No. Not at all. So I'm hoping for the odds to come down a little bit so I can load up even more on the Braves.
If they weren't 1-9 on the road, would you be going over to Atlanta for the game?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I have alligators to feed. I got things to do.
Yeah.
That's true.
You do.
I just don't let anybody feed whole chickens to the crew. Just don't do that. But the other issue that went on, and I want to get Landrum's take on this over the weekend. This is something that you and I got into a really heated discussion a few years ago. And it was fun. It was fun radio. It was when Acuna did not run out a ground ball, and I took him to task. Landrum, not saying that Landrum was okay with it, but Landrum definitely was.
I wasn't ready to deport him.
I didn't say you needed to deport him.
No, I didn't say that you did. I was just going extreme there.
But Pat was closer to that than you were.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
I don't know about deport. I don't know about deport.
No.
It's like, wow, Landrum agreed with that really quick.
You know what? Let's X that. No.
All right. So Jared Kelenic.
Yeah.
Your initial thoughts on that play. What happened?
I agree with your stance that you took a couple of years ago.
Okay.
As I was driving and that game was happening and I was listening to it, then I went back and I watched the replay. No, first of all, the fact that he made contact was amazing because he could not catch up to the fastball all night long. But then no, you do a lollygag down to first base and you're admiring it. Yeah. And then you get thrown out. No, I had an issue with it.
Okay. Well, let's hear what Kelnick had to say in the locker room on that infamous play.
I mean, I think the only thing I have to say is that, like, in that situation, like I know better than that. I kind of got caught up in the moment. Thought I got enough of it. Obviously, no excuse. Because every game is big. In that situation, a tight ball game right there, I got to be on second base. It's like there's no excuse for it because, we won that game, thank God, but they come back and put another run on and we end up having to go into extras because something I did, it's bigger than just me. Like I went in and talked to Snit about it, told him that, that was a mistake on my end and that something I can control, and I told him that it wouldn't happen again.
All right, so that's what he said in the locker room. But the story was what Ronald Acuna Jr. posted on social media. If it were me, they would take me out of the game. That got a lot of people talking. A lot of people got upset about that. And then he quickly deleted the post on Twitter. And as we all know, just because you delete something on Twitter doesn't mean that it has not been screen grabbed by 50 million people. So Brian Snitker, he was asked about the tweet, the conversation, and all that fun stuff with what took place there at Truist Park.
I don't do social media, number one. And I heard about it as I was walking to the dugout. Heard something was up, and then I came in and they said it was down. I haven't talked to him, so I don't know.
So that was what we were asking last night about Kelnick, because it was kind of the same situation as Acuna's. I know Acuna's wasn't.
No, they're all different. They're all different. All the situations, when they happen, they're all different. And I addressed it with Gerald.
What do you think made Acuna's incident different from Jared's?
It's just timing and all of everything. I think there's no blanket thing doing that. Quite honestly, you want to know the truth? I wasn't watching that play. I knew he got thrown out at second. I didn't see it till this morning, and then I talked to him about it.
Okay, because you had said during Acuna's incident that it's unacceptable.
Yeah, no, it was and it's
unacceptable for guys not to run. You still feel that way?
You don't run, and it's a big time like that. Yeah, but I quite honestly, I don't look for him to not do because he plays with his hair on fire all the time and he's laying out. And I didn't know it till I saw this morning. I went in and I looked at it when I got here, and then I had a discussion with him and we got it squared away.
Are you kind of surprised that he would make a comment like this when he's not even here with the team right now and he's trying to work to get better?
No, I mean, like I said, I didn't see it. I haven't talked to him, and I heard it was taken down. So kind of into the fact that we swept a series and won 3 in a row right now.
Yeah. That's a tough one to explain when you're trying to compare it, and he really didn't want to address it. I was there actually at the Braves and the Dodgers game on a Sunday when Acuna did not run out. Another one that hit off of the top of the brick wall, and he got pulled. It was not just, I don't remember that one time that it happened with Acuna. I think it happened multiple times.
Do you buy that he had no idea that happened during the game? Like, and I understand, okay, you're paying attention to something else. You don't see it in the moment, but you don't think there's somebody in that dugout, one of the other coaches, that's like, what's going on with it? What's going on with Kelnick? What was that?
Well, they're probably looking at their bench and they're like, don't bring it up to Snit until after the game because I don't know if we have anybody that can go out there and do it.
That's fair.
I don't know.
I'm like you.
It's a theory.
I think you've got somebody that's standing next to him.
There's no way you didn't know about that until the next morning.
They're sitting there going, if he had to run his blank off out of the batter's box, he'd be standing at second right now in scoring position. I think that's what you say to Snitker.
Yep.
Even if you say it under your breath, not trying to make a big deal out of it, but just in a passing conversation, like, well, if he'd have been hustling, that wouldn't have happened or whatever. So give Snitker credit. I mean, Snitker's been around a long time and he doesn't put up with it. And unfortunately, in this day and time, a lot of these older managers, they're kind of a dinosaur in regards to, I mean, I saw a lot of people on social media just absolutely just raking Snicker over the coals.
Yeah.
And I agree with him 100%. Every situation is completely different.
Yeah. And I think, though, what Jared Kelnick did after the game and going into his office and saying, look, I was wrong.
Yeah.
That was something that he should have done.
I'll tell you this, watching Acuna's little brother for the Mets this weekend, good little ball player. I mean, he's short. I mean, he doesn't have the kind of physique that Ronald has, but he is fast. He's more of a singles guy.
So it's kind of like Nico and Madden.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's it. But I was impressed because, really never heard a lot about his brother. But, I mean, he's going to make an all-star team or anything. But it was he's batting like 7th in the order. I mean, he's a guy that you get on base, you got to worry about him because he's very fast. And
it was a cool moment when they actually, Ronald, he was not with the team, but remember last year when Acuna his brother actually played against the Braves and they had that moment and all that fun, lovey stuff. Cute, cuddly stuff. Wholesome family stuff.
But like Snicker said, you just won 3 games in a row. You're trying to get the team on, back to 500 to have a legitimate conversation about the National League East. And people are more worried about a tweet that Ronald Acuna had put out there.
And do we know that Ronald Acuna actually put it out there?
Maybe not. Maybe it's Kirk Herbstreit's son.
For hire.
maybe Kirk Herbstreit's son has got like multiple. Maybe he's got like a social media farm. Well, like you can hire him and he basically will do social media for everybody.
And the reason I ask this is legitimate is because Ronald Acuna does use a translator.
He does. I feel pretty good that was him that put that out there.
I do too, Conrad. I'm just trying to throw out a theory.
Hey, at least he didn't do it after getting ejected and tweeting from the dugout like Jazz Chisholm and getting suspended for a game. But that's fun.
Man, what a fun weekend in Tampa.
Let's outlaw phones and dugouts.
It was a weird weekend. It was
the thing I loved about was it the non-home run call, right? On Judge?
Oh yeah, the one that went out of the park.
It's your spring training stadium. Put the stupid poles higher.
No, I agree.
I mean, you're sitting there complaining like it's your ballpark.
I know. You're right, Pat. You're right.
It's Steinbrenner Field.
I think it was a home run.
I thought it was too.
I mean, that was a monster home run. And
it was a bad call.
It was.
Yeah.
On the not only that, but on the strikeout.
Some of the umpires, especially yesterday on Domingo, it was bad.
I think the Rays should play there all the time.
It was fun.
I like that part, just watching it on TV. It looks like it'd be a fun place to go and watch a game.
I was about to say, it's probably a fun place. Let's be honest, it's the easiest place to hit now, even over Yankee Stadium. So everyone's going to be excited to go play Tampa Bay.
Unless you're the Braves.
Well, correct.
It is Reaction Monday. As you can tell, we're wide open. So anything you would like to talk about, the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450, 1-800-239-WJOX. When we come back on Three Man Front, we'll give you the very latest on the transfer portal. A little bit of movement this weekend for Auburn football and basketball. Meanwhile, Alabama, all eyes to the western portion of the state. Not much going on. We'll tell you what we're hearing. Plus, Nico official in Westwood in California. We'll get over that as well. What's next for Tennessee? All that's coming up on this Reaction Monday. This is Jocks 94.5. Well, I know this is going to shock a lot of people, but Duke's Cooper Flagg has officially made it official that he is moving on to the NBA draft.
Say what?
I know, it's crazy.
Come on, Cooper.
Cooper Flagg made
He's not
it
ready,
official
Pat.
with a beautiful graphic.
He is not ready.
So he is going on to the NBA draft and leaving the Duke Blue Devils. So
they couldn't afford him if he wanted to stay.
No, because he spent $4 million on Mensa, the quarterback for the football team. So
right.
Duke basketball has no more money.
Well, spring weather in Alabama can be really unpredictable, so that's why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. So to find out more, go and visit Trane.com.
All right, so quickly, a little bit of news just coming out of Auburn just a few moments ago. Auburn has landed all SWAC defensive lineman transfer James Ash from Florida A&M. So he was a Rattler. He is on his way to Auburn now. That means it's another veteran in the mix on the defensive line. Remember, we talked about that about a week ago. Everything that I was hearing that the defensive line was the area that they were going to try to address. And so he had 44 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks in 2024. So that's another veteran piece that has been added. Also over the weekend, the number 2, it was the best available linebacker in the portal, Maryland's Caleb Wheatland. He is committed to the Tigers. Also, Auburn secured a commitment from defensive lineman Jay Hardy. That's a very familiar name because he joined the Auburn Tigers back in 2020 out of Chattanooga High School. After just one season at Auburn, he transferred to Liberty. Now he's coming back. Hardy had 54 tackles, including 22 solos, 7 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. So he's coming back to Auburn, playing for some of his old coaches. So that's a good get for Auburn. And also they added an offensive lineman, according to Peter Rauterkus from AL.com. Offensive lineman from Austin P, Malachi Harris, has committed to Auburn on Sunday, becoming the Tigers' first incoming transfer of the spring portal window.
You know what's interesting is I was reading some of those that had come out, but if you're a fan and you're saying, well, they're getting a guy, whether it's from the SWAC or from the FCS, go and look at some of the elite programs around the country and how they're filling depth needs. And they're doing the exact same thing, which is great for those guys at that level because you're going to get a payday. You're going to get more than I'm sure that you were getting at your current collective, but also you get an opportunity to go and do it. It's just kind of startling with the numbers and the opportunities that some of these guys are getting. But some of them, they could play more of a prominent role than others, I would assume.
Auburn's secondary got a little bit thinner, though, over the weekend as Tyler Scott, redshirt freshman, a former 4-star recruit from the state of Georgia, he is going to enter the portal. But Auburn is going to be hosting Tulane cornerback Rayshawn Pleasant today. So as quickly as somebody goes in the portal, you got another one ready to come visit. Now, Pleasant was in Los Angeles over the weekend visiting USC, but he's going to be at Auburn today visiting. So we'll see how quickly all that happens. And wrapping up the Auburn transfer portal news, Auburn basketball landed an intriguing replacement for Chad Baker-Mazara. Elijah Freeman, one of the top players in Division II, he committed to Auburn on Saturday. Freeman had also visited the University of Tennessee. So he is coming to Auburn. He's 6'8". He was the South Atlantic Freshman of the Year in Division II, 18.9 points, 8.7 rebounds per game, and he shot lights out.
46% from 3.
Yeah, from 3.
And he can handle the ball. That was a huge get because not only you said it was Tennessee that he had visited, but also Indiana. There was a lot of interest from some other blue bloods, if you want to call them that.
Meanwhile, over in Tuscaloosa, it has been very quiet. I checked this weekend. A lot of people are starting to feel like maybe there's not going to be any changes in that quarterback room. Maybe Austin Mack is going to stick it out in Tuscaloosa, which that would make the offensive staff feel really good, having 3 guys that they would like to continue to develop there in that position. Rodney Orr this morning on Tighter Insider, he reported that West Virginia freshman tight end Jack Samarco, he is in the portal, and he's a Cincinnati native. He only caught 1 pass for 4 yards in limited game action, but he's 6'5", 238, and Rodney lists him as a name to keep your eye on for Alabama because they've had all those injuries at the tight end position, and so they're looking to build depth there. He's a name, and he also, the name that we keep hearing is the Troy tight end, Brody Dalton. So you got Samarco, he's in Tuscaloosa today. Dalton, who played at Troy, he's in town in Tuscaloosa on Tuesday. So Rodney's reporting that he believes that Alabama is definitely going to probably grab one of those gentlemen, maybe two, out of the transfer portal. So that's kind of where we are right now in regards to Alabama and Auburn in the transfer portal. To the phones we go, 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Dave, who wants to join us first up this week. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Yeah, man, I finally got over that situation. You guys just brought it up on the radio. Now my blood is just boiling.
Uh-oh.
And, let me tell you, Snitker says, well, not all situations are the same. Well, you would think if that's the case, Coach, Acuna would stay in, the 70 stolen base guy MVP, and then the guy hitting 170 would be taken out of the game. You got to treat them all the same, because if you don't, you're going to have things happen like what happened with him pointing fingers. Now they're pointing fingers at each other, and they're not in a situation where they can afford to be doing that with their record.
No.
Looks like they might be coming out of it a little bit, but at the end of the day, when you hit a ball like Michael Harris's ball, if you saw the outfielder, you know when you get it all, because the outfielder doesn't even turn and run. He just looks straight up. That ball's way out of here. But the ball that Kelnick hit, outfielders are making a beeline to the wall. You run wide open to first, and you make your turn. If it leaves the yard, you pull up and you go into your home run trot. If you get it all at home plate, you can do your rain dance, your Barry Bonds smooth move, twist and turn, whatever you want to do, right? But when it's because you got to get the second, and it may even hit the wall like it did and come all the way past people towards the infield, he can get a triple out of it. So by Snit, who also pulled the pitcher out of the game with the bases loaded and a 2-0 count, never in my life seen anybody pull a pitcher on a 2-0 count with the bases loaded.
Wow.
So the guy's got to come in and throw strikes, and what does the hitter do? He ambushes the first pitch.
Fastball.
So Snitker's got to get his act together here and quit creating dissension in his locker room. You got to treat everybody the same in baseball.
Do you get the feeling, Dave, and I know what he said, but do you get the feeling this is Snit's last go?
Oh, I don't even know if he's going to make it out of the season. Do you guys remember when Andrew Jones dropped the fly ball, his patented catch by the shoulder?
Yeah.
He just dropped one, just popped out of his glove. When he gets into the dugout, Bobby Cox gave him the finger, came over here. He walked him up the tunnel, and Chipper Jones said, I haven't heard a chewing like that since I was 8 years old, but there were about 40 or 50 adjectives thrown in there. And he did not go back in the game. Andrew didn't. So you got to treat them all the same in that regard. Otherwise, you're going to start pointing fingers.
Yeah. Bobby Cox, much different demeanor, but the way that he led, he garnered respect. That's for sure.
Yep.
I think
You got
Snit's
that
a lot
right.
different.
And you do that one time, and it'll never happen. It never happen again.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate it. Go Braves.
See you.
All right.
Appreciate it very much. Talking Braves, talking transfer portal. We'll get into the Nico situation next. This is Reaction Monday. Jocks 94.5. 10:35, Jocks 94.5 on this Reaction Monday. Taking your calls at 1-800-239-WJOX. Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. UCLA made it official yesterday afternoon. Tennessee transfer Nico. He has been signed, sealed, and delivered. Nico has 3 years of eligibility left as a quarterback, and it's reasonable to expect him to at least play 2 more years, I would think, for the Bruins. $1.5 million. That was the rumored deal to get him from Knoxville. So not only does he take a pay cut there, Landrum, but he goes to the wonderful state of California that has state income tax, where he leaves a state that has no state income tax.
I hope they factored that in with his deal.
He says, I'll be forever thankful for the support you showed me every step of the way. That's towards the Tennessee folks, and I'll always cherish the relationships I built there and the memories I created with my brothers. I believe with all my heart that I gave my all as a volunteer. I'm truly grateful for the time I had at UT. My journey at UT has come to an end. This decision was incredibly difficult and truthfully not something I expected to make this soon. But I trust God's timing, and I believe he's leading me where I need to be.
What do you think the one-word reaction response would be from Tennessee fans?
Well, it'd be a 2-word answer.
Yeah.
Maybe hyphenated. Is that hyphenated or is that 2 words?
Good luck.
I was just thinking,
rhymes
bye.
with luck. It rhymes with luck. Is that a hyphenated word?
No.
Or is that 2 words?
No, it's definitely 2.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Definitely 2.
Okay. So I don't know what the 1 word would be then.
I was just thinking, bye.
I know, me too. Bye.
You went down a whole different road there. So you suck that's no. Oh, yeah. That's not what you meant at all. Well, April showers, they bring May flowers. They also bring the barbecue party crashers like fire ants, stinging insects, ticks, mosquitoes. You got to take back your yard this spring and summer. Don't let the bugs and pests ruin your outdoor fun. That's why you call our friends at Stark Exterminators. They've been family owned for over 61 years. You set up your free home or business pest inspection today. One of their friendly team members will come out to your home or your place of business or both. They'll inspect it thoroughly inside and out. They'll come up with a customized plan for you. About 2.5 years ago, we had an issue that we had never had before. All of a sudden, ants just started appearing in our bathroom. Huh? Okay. Well, I tried to take care of the problem myself. I couldn't do it. I called our friends at Stark. Liam came out there. He said, look, I'm going to take care of the ants. You're not going to have to worry about those anymore. But we have some other issues we need to address. And that's exactly what they've done. Stark Exterminators, call today for the free pest inspection, home or business, 855-STARK now, or visit starkexterminators.com. When you do so, always tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So now the big question is, where does Tennessee go? Where do they go to find themselves a veteran quarterback? Now, late last week, Steve Angeli went into the portal. He was the veteran quarterback for Notre Dame who got limited work. You saw him a little bit in the college football playoff. And so the general feeling was, I did SEC Mike's podcast late last week, and he told me off the air that that's who he's hearing, that they're targeting to be that guy in the quarterback room for the University of Tennessee. So an interesting story comes out this morning that Steve Angeli is going to visit Syracuse on an official visit. So I'm not sure if Tennessee, maybe the money was not to Steve Angeli's liking, and perhaps Syracuse is going to up the ante, but that's an interesting story to look at.
He got confused by all the color oranges, all the different shades of orange.
That's a little bit of a different orange.
It is.
In Syracuse than in East Tennessee. But it also came out over the weekend that TCU starting quarterback Josh Hoover, he turned down an excess of $1 million to go to Tennessee. So the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reporter Steve Johnson cited sources that Tennessee reached out to Hoover's representatives after Nico and the Vols split ways last week, ultimately ending with the projected starter entering the portal. According to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Hoover is set to make 7 figures with TCU after throwing for almost 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year in the Big 12. So Tennessee goes knocking on his door, offers him $1 million to come to Tennessee, and he says, no, thank you.
It feels like that would have been a really good system, too, from going from TCU to Tennessee. But look, if he's happy and the money's either comparable or you're going to get a little bit more, why leave?
I don't blame him. And I saw a bunch of people, that were mad. They're like, oh, so Tennessee was tampering with this quarterback the whole time. Oh, yeah, because nobody was tampering with Tennessee's roster this whole offseason. I'm sure, and I understand people want to pick and choose when they bring that out. It's everybody's tampering with everybody. It is what it is.
Yeah, stop with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going back to pre-NIL and the collective era. And talking about, well, that team, they cheated. Well, so did your team. They just didn't do it as well as the other team.
Bingo.
Well, so you have Becht at Iowa State. We told you about that heartwarming story towards the end of last week. He donated a good portion of his NIL money to the pediatric hospital wing there in Ames, Iowa. That be somebody that I would think that Tennessee would have been interested in, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have Avery Johnson at Kansas State. Word is that people in Manhattan are going to do whatever they can to make him very comfortable. He's probably going to stay. You've reached out to a TCU quarterback, and he apparently is already making 7 figures there at TCU, very successful. He apparently has said thank you, but no. And now you got the kid from Notre Dame is now visiting Syracuse.
Well, what's going to be interesting is if Tennessee, if they keep having these guys that they're striking out on based on the $1 million reportedly that they're offering them. And then they have to do exactly what they were trying to avoid doing with Nico.
And overpay for somebody?
Overpay, which inflates the market, and then we get some of the crazy numbers, and that becomes the new going rate.
Yeah, and I do wonder too if you're in a situation because UCLA, they're paying $1.2 million for their quarterback before Nico Aguilar, who came over from App State. Is that one of those things where if you're Tennessee, you're like, God, this is the best we got. I know it's a weird situation, but you just say, hey, why don't you come to Tennessee? We try to make it work for a year, and then, we'll go somewhere in the future. We'll figure out what our long-term plan is, but you're running out of options. Gio Lopez is gone. He's at North Carolina.
Is it not still just mind-blowing to you guys that just a couple of years ago, we're talking about the $1 million quarterback range, and there was just a few quarterbacks. It was a handful. It was Drake May. It was...
Oh, remember when we found out Bryce Young was making $1 million?
Yeah, and that was a really big deal.
And then he won the Heisman, and it was
right.
like, oh, that was
a really big deal. Now, how many college football fans know some of the guys that you just mentioned?
And they're all making over $1 million.
They would have all known those guys a couple of years ago. But how many of college football fans today, just your everyday, hey, yeah, I'll watch them in the fall. I'll watch the Big 12.
Be completely honest. And I'm being honest here.
Yeah.
With a gun to my head, I could not have told you who Josh Hoover was before I saw that story.
No. Don't know if I watched a single TCU game last year, to be honest with you.
Dude making over 7 figures already as the TCU quarterback.
I was out after Duggan.
Yeah.
65-7. That's where I drew the line.
I was about to say, Iowa State was competitive. A lot of people know who Rocco Becht is, or a Sam Levitt at an Arizona State.
Well, they also
State
played for the Big 12 championship.
Correct. That is also fair. Or even Avery Johnson at Kansas State as well. But yeah,
because of his hair.
People do like the hair.
Good hair.
He does have good hair. Head and Shoulders NIL. Come on.
I always think of basketball Avery Johnson though. Every time I hear it.
Oh well, yeah.
And I want to do the impersonation. I can't. I'm not do it. What is he doing now? Is he in the NBA or is he still doing broadcast stuff?
He does broadcast stuff, right?
Well, he wasn't on the NCAA stuff this year. He was part of that team a couple of years ago.
The real question is, what is his son doing right now? Because he was just an abomination to the game of college basketball. I'm sorry. He was horrible.
Yeah, he
horrible.
But from what we hear, his wife made a mean lasagna. They would have the team over to the house.
Wow. Oh, when you Google Avery Johnson now, the Kansas State quarterback shows up, not.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Changing of the times.
He did was it Conference USA or the American basketball tournament?
This says he works for CBS Sports as an analyst.
Still does?
Okay. Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was doing, when UAB was in the championship game, we would get him. It was Conference USA.
Okay.
Because CUSA is their media partner, CBS. So we had to endure him during the broadcast. Oh, well. Now's the right time to talk about the health and safety of your trees in your yard with a certified expert. That's Golston Tree Service. They're the expert. 205-337-4018. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. No job is too big or small, from trimming to removal to grinding the stump and roots out and hauling everything away. And it makes everything in your yard pristine. Golston Tree Service, call them today. They also offer 24-hour emergency storm work service. That number again, 205-337-4018.
We will get to your text, more of your phone calls here in the first hour of A Reaction Monday, 205-834-9450, 800-239-WJOX.
Your calls are coming in 1-800-239-WJOX. We will take those phone calls momentarily. The Courtesy GMC text line is also open at 205-834-9450.
Well, when I went down to the Alabama Gulf Coast for work late last week and through the weekend, I did not want to consume any alcohol. And there's a great way to do that. But still, you can get the vibe that you're trying to achieve with our friends at Mystic Beverage. MysticBeverage.com. It is infused sparkling water made in Blount County, Alabama. From the Nirvanic to the High Hills Delta 9. The Lift Blend is what I was going for. It's got the CBD, the CBG, the Delta 9, and the green coffee bean extract. It's going to boost both your body and your mind, keep you focused, especially when you're having long days and you still need to get stuff done. Mystic Beverage, mysticbeverage.com. You can find them at your local Piggly Wiggly. We appreciate their partnership.
All right, back to the phones we go. Let's talk to Robert in Greenville. Hey, Robert, good morning. I hope you're doing well on this Monday.
Good morning. I hope y'all are doing well also. Listen, I think offensive tackle, defensive tackle is something that Alabama needs to address. I think the quarterback situation is fine as it is, based on what I heard during the spring. But what I wanted to talk to you about was back in November. There was a story out that kind of got swept under the rug, and I know y'all talk a lot of UFL football on your show. A.J. McCarron ended up getting cut by the St. Louis UFL team, and apparently that's turned out to be a huge mistake. I don't think Anthony Beck knows what he's doing, to be quite honest with you. I had a friend of mine tell me about a bonehead play call he made that cost him the game last week, and I just don't think I just don't think that they did the right thing by releasing A.J. McCarron. I think A.J. McCarron was a big reason why they won a lot of those games, and they frankly, and I know Birmingham fans are glad they won a UFL title last year. I got a friend of mine who's a huge Stallions fan, but St. Louis had no business losing that game, and there was a lot of questionable decisions made by Anthony Beck. I never did like him on ESPN, first of all. He was always on the F and G game. This is back when the Big Ten and the Pac-12 were on ESPN. They had more games to televise, choose from. And plus, he wasn't all that great of a player in the NFL. And I just think that that team has made a huge mistake by cutting A.J. McCarron. I don't particularly care for Anthony Beck as a head coach. He reminds me a lot of Matt Rule at Nebraska, to be quite honest about it, because Matt Rule is a quarterback killer as well, because he, like Anthony Beck, runs very conservative offense.
Is that true? Does Matt Rule kill quarterbacks, Smiley?
Matt Rule his offenses have never been wide open.
He kills spring games.
That's true.
He has never ran a wide open offense. They had no business losing that Ohio State game last year. I mean, fourth and goal at the 1. Are you kidding me? About a play call, giving the ball to a back 5 or 6 yards in the backfield? That's the same thing Anthony Beck is doing with St. Louis.
Insanity.
And you're playing a dome stadium. If you're playing a dome stadium, gentlemen, you should build your team around speed and throwing the football to set up the run. And I'm just not a fan of what Anthony Beck did with A.J. McCarron. I just want to see what y'all thought about that.
All right. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate the call very much. Well, one thing's for sure, the quarterbacks, just like everybody else in the UFL, they don't become multimillionaires by playing in the UFL. As of last year, I think you were making, the base salary was around $55,000. I think that's been increased now because of the new collective bargaining agreement. Manny Wilkins, who was the backup to A.J. McCarron, he is the quarterback. Also, Max Duggan, remember, from TCU fame, who's a very good college quarterback. He's in the mix as well. I'll be honest with you, I've seen maybe one St. Louis Battlehawk game this year, and the offense definitely looked different than the one that we saw over the last 2 years that A.J. McCarron, but maybe it was a financial decision. Maybe A.J. McCarron wanted some guarantees, and maybe he wanted certain things.
He played banged up a lot last year.
Yeah, he was. He's had a very long career.
Yeah, he's a little longer in the tooth, though, too.
Yeah, so maybe it was just a situation where they decided they wanted to move on from him. But it's like, I think more than anything, it might be just the fact that of his age and some of the injuries that started kind of.
Maybe durability was one of those things that they weighed out, and they said, let's go with somebody that maybe can stay.
Because I'll be honest with you, when one of the situations let's just be honest, Matt Corral is a roller coaster quarterback for Birmingham. And once Magoo went down, you're starting to going, wonder if you call South Alabama and see if old AJ wants to come up here and put the Stallion gears on for a couple games.
Apparently his wife did an interview early this year, and she had said that
Catherine?
Yes, Catherine Webb. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
she did an interview with the New York Post where she
Brent
said
Musburger. Who was the interview with?
I'm sure Brent would have loved that.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen that since.
I'm going to be creepy.
I've just never seen someone so enamored with a fan in a game. But yeah, his wife said that he was he was pretty much done playing football and he's working on a podcast deal.
Do you
next
speaking of that, do you call Cam Newton first or AJ McCarron if you're the Stallions?
That'd be a good poll question.
Save that one.
That's a good one.
We'll do that one in June.
All right, back to the phones. Let's go to Chris, who joins us next. He's a big Stallions fan. Hey, Chris, what's going on?
What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
Good. You gonna be there Friday night with your shirt off?
It's halfway off, baby. You know how it is.
Okay.
Turn the section on top.
I just want to make sure you and Damien are there with your shirts off.
Yeah.
Let me get to that in a minute. It was a decent weekend. I wouldn't think of 10-4 with my WrestleMania picks. My Celtics beat the Orlando Magic last night. And speaking of Stallions, I mean, the offense seems to be coming together. It's got a little stuff they got to tinker with. I think they can chuck it up also to interest. The defense still stout, susceptible to picking in the backfield and getting lost in coverage, but still pretty decent. I'm still waiting on the first pick of the season and the first crowd. I guess we call that Birmingham bounce. Birmingham bounce to the crowd dive of the season. And one last thing, speaking of Damien, can y'all bring him up here and just question him like, what's his issue with me? I just wonder.
Conrad, what is the issue? We tried to get to the bottom of this the other day. What's the issue between Damien and Chris?
I don't know. He won't talk about it. Anytime I go and I bring up Chris around, he shuts down. He doesn't want to talk about it.
So there's bad blood between the two?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Like it's one of those questions bigger than the great Sphinx.
All right, Chris. Yeah. What if at Don Don's tailgate party Friday night?
Yeah,
that we could get you two together.
It's kind of like a summit.
Yeah, and kind of sit down and kind of figure out what's going on because
bury the hatchet.
Yeah, you two are a very integral part of taking your shirt off on the front row in the Stallions end zone. So
we won't look the same.
No, we want to make sure you guys are good to go.
We need all the horses in the stable.
Yes.
I have no problem with it. I'm Mr. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Have a great day.
Yeah, I have that on my iPod.
More calls, your texts, 3-man front. Welcome back. It's hour number 2, a 3-man front. Jocks 94.5. Pat, Molly, Conrad, Landrum, whole gang back in studio on this beautiful Monday. Hope everybody had a nice holiday Easter weekend. We're wide open today. Reaction Monday, 1-800-239-WJOX, the courtesy GMC text line. We'll get to your text messages momentarily. That's 205-834-9450. Auburn football, they landed an all-SWAC defensive line transfer this morning. James Ash from Florida A&M. It's another veteran now in the mix in the defensive line room. He totaled 44 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks in 2024. Also, from Alabama's perspective, Rodney Orr from Tighter Insider this morning, he put on his website that West Virginia freshman tight end Jack Samarco, 6'5", 238, is the name to watch out of the transfer portal. He had limited action for West Virginia last year, but he's big, 6'5", 238. Someone that Alabama's looking at. Also, Troy tight end Brody Dalton is another name of interest. So the next couple of days, Samarco and Dalton both will be on official visits in Tuscaloosa. We'll see if there is an official offer comes from either of those two. Stallions win over the weekend, 23-16 over Houston. They had 222 yards of offense at halftime. Not so good in the second half offensively. Who had Case Kukas coming in, right? Who had him coming in as the quarterback? I will say this, that 36-yard completion he had on third down.
It was a nice throw.
It was a very nice throw, and that pretty much sealed the deal. And Matt Corral, not really sure about what his status is going to be for this week's game against Memphis. Corral threw for 195 yards. He led the Stallions with 52 yards rushing. Deion Kane, 3 receptions, 69 yards, 1 touchdown on the evening. JoJo Tillery had an interception with 22 seconds left that sealed it for the Stallions. Birmingham was 7 of 14 on third down. But the MVP in the game, in my opinion, was the thicker kicker.
Thicker kicker.
Harrison Mevis. 3 field goals of 35, 48, and 50 yards. And this is what his head football coach, Skip Holtz, had to say about the girthy kicker.
Shout out to Mevis, the thicker kicker. I mean, you know what? I mean, the guy's he's done great. And really, that's one of the differences in the game. He made them all, and they ended up missing one today. And probably a big part, if it goes the other way, the outcome of that game is different. So I think he's done great. He's been money. We put him in a pressure kicking situation. I think he's been 1 out of 4. I think he's 1 out of 4 in the last couple weeks in practice. But boy, I tell you what, in games, son of a gun's been money. Proud of him.
There you go. 35, 48, and 50 yards. And so he's come back to the state of Alabama where he missed that very important field goal against the Auburn Tigers.
Well, that led to, wasn't it Missouri player that dropped the ball?
Mm-hmm.
On the 1-yard line going in.
Yep.
And that would have been a win.
Multiple opportunities for Mizzou to win that game against Auburn. So the Stallions get the win. Stallions are now 3-1 at home and a big home game Friday night against Memphis. So let's see if we can't pack protective on Friday night.
Let's do it.
Should be good weather,
yep.
I understand, on Friday night. And I think weather had a lot to do. You were there at the last game. I was actually umpiring that night. I could not.
You had rain that was threatening and storms that were rolling in. I think a lot of people were wondering if that was going to last. And then you had a cold front that came in. It got cold.
Supposed to be nice weather Friday night. So let's see what we can do about packing Protective Stadium out for the Stallions, who are now 3-1. They've won 3 in a row. And they're playing a Memphis team that's, as Molly just gave me the thumbs down.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, and DC lost to San Antonio yesterday.
That was a big upset.
So now the Stallions are tied for the best record in UFL.
Just when you're ready to write them off.
4-peat, baby. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
And, Vegas perspective, they're still the number 1 team, according to Vegas, to win the championship.
Well, why wouldn't we be? Come on. It's in our DNA.
It just looked kind of questionable first couple weeks of the season.
But thankfully, everyone else has to.
I haven't looked at the depth chart. Hopefully, Corral can come back. And if not, it's going to be Cookus. But who is after Cookus?
Skip Holtz. Just loosen that arm
Wait,
up.
is Smith still not on the roster?
Mm-mm.
He's not?
No.
Oh.
Jamar?
Yeah.
No.
Any chance just for, nah, there's not.
Is there any way that we can trade for Luis Perez?
You want Perez back?
I just felt like he had a very short stint with the Birmingham Iron because he didn't get paid.
I got an opportunity.
He didn't want a quarterback anymore because he didn't get paid.
I got an opportunity for a future Hall of Fame quarterback to come in and just have some fun in a spring league.
Aaron Rodgers?
And dominate. Aaron Rodgers!
Okay, I'm sorry. That would be awesome. To what?
We got mushrooms.
I mean, he would tear it up. Like, that would be awesome. That would be really cool.
He throws for 700 yards.
I mean, he would. I mean, no offense to the other players, but yeah, I mean, he's just on a whole different level, even at this stage in his career. That would be awesome. Or Cam Newton, like Landrum wanted.
Yeah.
No, I just threw it out there for Cam. He's still out there.
He can come do his podcast down the hall. It'll be great.
Yeah. Get it done.
I don't know. We don't allow smoking. He loves smoking the cigars during his podcast.
Oh, he does do that.
Something tells me there'd be an exception made for him.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's get to the text line, 205-834-9450, brought to you by Courtesy GMC. A myriad of topics making their way across the text line. It's good to have Landrum back at the controls because I'll be honest with you, Conrad was...
What?
I don't know. He's just kind of loose and reckless with the text.
I read
messages.
everything. I read them all.
Did you?
I'm really surprised I'm here today, to be honest with you.
Oh, all right, Pat. I'm just going in order. This is the one that gets us started. Go Cubs, go. Love to see the Cards struggle.
Well, you've had a really good last couple of years if you enjoy that.
Best in franchise history. Well, worst. But.
Yeah, just love all these franchise historical notes as being checked off of the last 2 to 3 years.
Hey, Goldschmidt has been lights out, though. That was a great pickup.
Too bad when we were paying him $30 million, he wasn't lights out.
Nope.
I know he's hitting like 370 right now.
And,
awesome.
and you're paying him $10 million. A little bit different.
Love it.
Alan says, so I'm hearing that Damian has his fandom up for sale, so to speak. And I'm listening to how many Braves fans that pay was raised by lives around. How much to change Pat's fandom to the Braves? Chop on.
0. Not enough money in the
I
world.
could answer that. No.
See, Damian was a Tennessee fan for like
Pat
2
does
years.
not have a
it was
price
easy
when it
to
comes to
pry
those
him
Cardinals.
away.
No. And just like Landrum doesn't have a price for the Braves.
No.
I think Conrad could be had.
You couldn't force me to pull for another team. I would still, there's no way I could.
No.
Even when the Braves are bad, I'm going to pull for the Braves.
You take the good and you take the bad.
That's right. Unfortunately for you, it's more.
Yeah, the last 3 years have been
not a whole lot to crow about.
Horrible.
Where's Carlton Fisk when we need him? If he had been catching when Acuna shows up the pitcher like he does, when Acuna reached home plate, he would have had to fight his way to the dugout.
Well, that's just baseball in general. This is not a shot at Acuna. This is baseball, period. I mean, if back in the day, if Bob Gibson was pitching and some of these guys dancing around the bases after they hit a home run, next time you step in the box, you're going to get one in the ear hole.
I was about to say, there's not enough chin music in baseball anymore. Guys are too nice. Go hit somebody.
Okay, I hope I'm not walking into something because this one reads, Avery Johnson has a lucrative strawberry lemonade deal.
Which Avery Johnson?
Molly's on it.
That seems like an NIL thing, maybe?
Yeah. I was not aware, and I didn't do any back checking, so.
Well, and they hate strawberry lemonade in Knoxville, from what I understand, so.
Okay, this one reads, can you guys go into the process, what the process is to get an offer from the University of Alabama? Take these two tight ends, for instance. Do they run, catch, and scrimmage at all, or just answer questions? Oh, you're talking about when they come to visit a prospective.
Like, what is a portal visit like?
Do they go through a workout?
Yeah.
I don't think they go through a workout, do they?
No, I
imagine it's very similar to if you're a high school recruit.
Yeah, you come in, you tour the facilities, you sit down with your potential position coach, you talk to DeBoer.
They flash all the rings in front of you and they say, you want to be a part of this or no?
Yeah.
And then they bring out the briefcase with all the cash and they open it up and say, this can be yours.
All right, now we hit reverse. Molly has found out about this lucrative strawberry lemonade deal.
That texter was correct. He has his own Avery Johnson lemonade.
Wait, which one?
Which one?
The K-State quarterback.
Oh.
Avery Johnson's electrifying new strawberry lemonade is now available for purchase at the catsnil.com. That's their NIL.
Oh, you have to go through
website.
that to get oh, that seems like a hassle. I want to go to the store and buy it.
It's a new drink that Avery Johnson helped craft, and you can support him at the same time. The minimum order is a 12-pack for $30. It's electrifying and thirst-quenching and low-calorie.
It's electrifying, dude.
Low calorie.
You can play like Avery Johnson.
And it has his face on it.
Well, you know what?
I can go get a 12-pack of something I like for $13.
Because that is actually truly the spirit of name, image, and likeness.
It is.
Congratulations.
I'm a fan of it.
Speaking of transfer quarterbacks, our friend Trey Wallace at Outkick, he literally just tweeted this out 34 seconds ago. UCLA quarterback Joey Aguilar is entering the transfer portal.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
It should be official later on today. He was making around $1.2 million. He went from App State to UCLA, and that he was scheduled to meet with his offensive coordinator and head coach this morning, and obviously they came to the conclusion that it was probably best for him to move on, and they need that $1.2 million. I did not realize this because I don't really pay that close of attention to UCLA basketball transfer portal, but I believe I read where they went and got, I think, one of the top players from New Mexico out of the transfer portal, and they're paying the guy out of the transfer portal in basketball like over $3 million.
Yeah, it's a $3 million guard.
Oh, in basketball. Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they were talking about how they had to go cheap on Nico because a lot of their NIL money was put towards the basketball players.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. That dude is good, though, from New Mexico.
Oh, he's awesome.
Really good.
Is he PJ
He inflated the market.
Haggerty good?
No. But that's what $4 million gets you. That gets you PJ Haggerty, not the New Mexico guy. I will say for Joey Aguilar, for people that aren't familiar with him, for his career, 2 years at App State, 6,700 passing yards, 56 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, 5 rushing touchdowns. Not bad.
So I wonder if you think Tennessee would entertain Aguilar?
You have to at this point, right? At least have a conversation. I mean, you're running out of options.
He totaled 7,216 yards and 61 touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
For App State. Would that not be something?
Just could do worse. How does that work, though? They should make UCLA. They have to pay his NIL too. He gets to go to Tennessee, but they have to pay for him and Nico.
And what if Tennessee comes out and pays him more than they would have paid Nico if Nico would have stayed?
That's going to be the story.
I would want to do that just out of spite.
Yeah.
Now, granted, who has $1.5 million lying around
We're
in
going
their
to
athletic fund?
pay you $2.4 and $1.
That's right. That's right.
Take his number.
Just go start poaching all of these wide receivers and stuff. Everything that Nico wanted, just go and get that for Aguilar and pay him more.
You think it would be easier for Tennessee fans to spell Aguilar?
Yes. A little bit.
If I'm Heupel, I just roll the dice on the 2 young guys. Their last names start with M.
Yeah, I mean, you could do.
Get your built-in excuse.
And people have brought it up, right? You're not replacing a guy that threw for 40 touchdowns last year. You're replacing a guy that threw for 19 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. You can find a way to replace that.
Back to us throwing out hypothetical potential replacements. If
hypotheticals?
Hypotheticals?
Yeah.
For the Stallions, Cam Newton, Jerry Barnett from Hayden says, I would never watch the Stallions again if they brought in Scam Newton. We don't need that loudmouth windbag. Windbag.
I mean, if we remember when he was in New England and they drafted Mac Jones, they got rid of him because they knew he couldn't handle being a backup quarterback and it would be a distraction and they had to get rid of him. So,
but he originally signed that deal where it was an incentive-based contract. That was never going to work.
No. It was fun, though. And then he went back to the Panthers. That was fun.
And keep the text rolling in 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line.
Also, the phone lines are open up at 1-800-239-WJOX. Is that our friend on hold?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to him. Let's see what's going on with Don. Good morning, Don. Hope you're well.
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing?
Hey, Don. We're good. How are you?
Yeah, how did your beach volleyball go?
It went great. We crowned champions, and we benefited young people.
Oh, fantastic. That's always a good thing. But, yeah, Pat, I texted you a picture of all of us horsemen down at Back 40. We had a great crowd down there Saturday night.
Yeah, it looked like it. Looked like you guys had a good time.
Yeah, we had about 50 or 60 people there, and our buddy Maria brought some friends on, and they joined the horsemen, and all my fellow horsemen wanted me to invite all y'all to be members of the horsemen.
Landrum is worried about initiation. Is there initiation involved?
Yeah.
There's not initiation,
Okay.
Landrum. Me and Boomer, and all of us. We just love to have y'all. But Pat, you're probably gonna be mad at me.
I already heard a rumor. Already heard a rumor. It was making its rounds.
And hey, Don, in all seriousness, I want to let you know that thinking about you, I know that you and Gringo, y'all lost a dear friend. So.
Oh, thank you. Matter of fact, I appreciate that. Yes, his name was Mark Cezoda. He was a classmate of ours at his funeral morning. So me and Gringo both will be a little late getting there, but we will be there tomorrow.
Okay.
But thank you for that. Yeah, me and Gary have known Mark since we were 7 years old, Landrum. So yeah, very, very dear friend. But I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, sir.
But no, Pat, I'm gonna be in Talladega this weekend. It's race weekend.
Gotcha.
Don't become that news story, Don. Don't you do it. Don't become the news story on Monday when they find you.
No, Landrum. I was actually there when they threw the coolers at Jeff Gordon when he won. I'll never forget that. And if you were there, you were getting soaking wet. They weren't even just throwing beer cans; they were throwing their coolers at him.
They were brutal towards Jeff Gordon.
I will never. Oh God, everybody hated Gordon.
That's what they said.
Everybody hated Gordon, and now the hated guy is Joey Logano.
Okay.
Everything. But no, anyway, guys, I will see everybody tomorrow, and got a lot to talk about. But how about that weekend that Auburn had with football and basketball? And Pat, there's another defensive lineman, and y'all will know about him. He played in Charlotte. I'm not sure of the lineman's name, but he's a pretty good defensive lineman at Charlotte that played against UAB last year.
Okay. I'll check him out.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, Don.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate that very much. When we come back, a little bit of transfer portal news in the Southeastern Conference in basketball. Man, it's shocking. The University of Kentucky has just landed another Southeastern Conference player to the roster for 2025. We'll tell you who it is next. Well, the Big Blue got another one today out of the transfer portal. We all know that they're spending a lot of money. The old blue blood from Lexington, Kentucky, not being shy with their money. Just ask Mo Diabate. Denzel Aberdeen, who averaged around 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1.5 assists, half a steal in 19 minutes per game for the world champion Florida Gators men's basketball team. He is heading north to Lexington, Kentucky. He had 22 points against South Carolina this year. He had 20 against Mississippi State. He's had flashes throughout the year for the Gators. So Denzel Aberdeen, the guard, heading to Lexington to play for Big Blue Nation.
Yeah, briefly, and just working with some folks this weekend that they're season ticket holders to Kentucky basketball games. They are just elated with Mark Pope and how things, not only on the court, but how he runs that program, a lot more fan-friendly, apparently.
Yeah, and I think that, I saw this over the weekend, and it kind of encapsulates the world that we live in now, because somebody pointed this out about Aberdeen, right? All right, he's a Florida kid. He got recruited to go play at Florida. He just won a national championship at Florida. He was in line to be their starting point guard next year because Walter Clayton's going to the NBA, and he still left. Literally everything that you could dream having, your ideal situation as a college athlete, and you still decide that it's time to go test the waters in the transfer portal. Crazy.
It's amazing, and we're going to see it happen at Alabama and Auburn at one point in time. You're going to have an Alabama kid who grew up a lifelong Alabama or Auburn fan, who got a wonderful opportunity to go to their school and play. And then somebody's going to come in and bat their eyelashes at them and offer a lot of cash, and there's no loyalty.
So Alabama's about to win a national championship in football. Ryan Williams is going to win the Heisman, and then he's going to transfer to Ohio State after the season. Is that what you're saying, Pat? That's what I just got out of your
statement. That might be the way that you translated that, but that's not what I was thinking. But I was just pointing out the obvious that is ultimately going to happen. One thing that is absolutely going to happen, and it could happen this afternoon and tomorrow, is some strong storms throughout central Alabama. If you're a homeowner like myself, you want to have the peace of mind of knowing that your roof is 100% intact. A couple of years ago, I was having some issues, and I know some shingles were loose on top of my roof as I was driving in, and I called Travis Lloyd at Abide Roofing at 205-922-7134, and I said, hey, Travis, I need you to come over here because I think I got an issue on top of my roof. And so he did come over, and he identified that I had multiple issues. Whole sections of my roof was going to need to be replaced, and then come to find out the whole roof needed to be replaced. So I was able to get me a brand new roof, but not without the fact that Travis Lloyd and Abide Roofing dealt with my insurance company, who was being difficult at times, and they were able to not only get me that new roof through my insurance company, but the craftsmanship and the things that they did on top of my roof gave me the peace of mind of moving forward that my roof's going to be good to go for many, many years to come. Abide Roofing, they're licensed, they're bonded, they're insured. They're the real deal. You need to give them a call because they're offering a free roof inspection right now that they can come to your house and they can get on your roof and they can tell you exactly what's going on. You're good to go. Hey, a couple of shingles need to be replaced, or if you need a new full roof replacement like I did, they can take care of that. Go to their website, abideroof.com. 5-star ratings galore on Google if you do a search on Abide Roofing. They can take care of you today. Travis Lloyd and his outstanding team there at Abide Roofing. 205-922-7134.
So we were talking about this guy a minute ago, and that's PJ Haggerty, the transfer from Memphis basketball player.
Are you about to tell me he's going to UAB?
No, no, that is not the case. Oh. But he was a second-team All-American, averaged 21 points a game, incredible basketball player. So he entered the portal last week, and we talked a little bit about how he was going to get a lot of money. And we found out over the weekend that apparently his camp is asking for $4 million or more. And they want to guarantee that he is going to play point guard because that's the position that he wants to play for, I guess, his NBA scouting potential. So Jeff Goodman from the Field of 68, he put this out a couple of moments ago. He writes, Memphis transfer PJ Haggerty may find a taker, but multiple top 25 programs have already opted out of getting involved due to the $4 million plus price tag and the demand of playing the point guard position. Haggerty is a stud bucket getter, but it's still all about the timing right now. A lot of schools are going to be hesitant to pay $4 million and a lot of schools have already spent the majority of their budget. So that's going to be a very interesting situation because I do think he is the best player we've seen in the portal this cycle. That is a lot of money for a kid that is also telling you how he wants you to play him.
Yeah. And not saying that Memphis was paying him good money, not $4 million good, but they were pretty much letting him run the show there. So I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of transfers, we've been telling you within the last 30 minutes, the news coming out of California that Joey Aguilar, who had left App State to go to Westwood to play for UCLA, he is now in the transfer portal because Nico made it official yesterday afternoon. He's joining the UCLA Bruins. So Pete Nakos from On3 Sports, he is reporting right now that look for these three schools to be heavily involved in the mix for Joey Aguilar. Tulane.
Okay.
Wake Forest. The University of Tennessee.
There we go.
There it is.
Good job, Josh.
So Tennessee will be in the conversation for Joey Aguilar.
Again, not saying that he's not a competent quarterback, but how is that just from the fan-based response, right? What do you do when you see, okay, maybe our best option at quarterback is considering Tulane, Wake Forest, and us? Has to make you confident that he would choose Tennessee, right? But that's not going to win the...
Does Tennessee have a law school?
Win the fan base.
Maybe he's pursuing some post-grad schooling. I don't know.
Maybe so.
I was just trying to draw parallels between Wake Forest and Tulane.
Maybe so.
Do you want to go to Tulane and Wake Forest and play in front of about 8,000 people, or do you want to go to Neyland Stadium and play in front of 100,000 in the toughest football conference in college football?
Well, and I don't know what his NFL draft prospects are. I'm going to imagine probably not a ton. Don't you think? He has 1 year of eligibility left. You go to Tennessee. You have a pretty good year. That's going to put you on the map. It's going to put you on the radar.
Yeah.
Make a practice squad, something. If that's what he wants to do, ultimately, it feels like that would be, I think we all agree, the best situation for him. But yeah, I don't think that the Tennessee fan base is going to be hooting and hollering over that.
So we'll see how that develops. But Pete Nakos reporting that Joey Aguilar is looking at Tennessee, Tulane, and Wake Forest already. Barely been in the portal, and that's who you're hearing.
Angeli or Aguilar, who do you want? Maybe neither.
Unbelievable. More three-man front on this Reaction Monday. This is Jocks 94.5. It is 76 degrees on this Monday. Welcome back in. It's 3-Man Front. We're all back in studio. Landrum back from the beach. Molly back from Detroit. Me and Conrad back from parts unknown in Central Alabama. Welcome you into the program. 1-800-239-WJOX.
Our friends at Dobbs Ford. It's right there on Parkway East in Birmingham. You can get out to Dobbs Ford. And right now, they're offering employee pricing. That's right. You can pretend that you are an employee of Dobbs. You're an employee of Ford. With that employee pricing, you're going to get some of those great discounts that all the employees get. And on top of that, you don't have to make your first payment for 90 days. You can't beat that. And you can't beat the showroom selection, Alabama's largest, in fact, that you're going to get there at Dobbs Ford, but it's the customer service that you're going to receive. And on top of that, they're going to beat any competitor's price. Check out the great selection of F-150s, Explorers, Mustangs, Broncos, and Bronco Sports, Escapes, all of that good stuff. It's there at Dobbs Ford. Dobbs Ford Birmingham, dobbsfordbirmingham.com. Go and check out the selection. Go down there and just meet some great people, whether you ever buy a car, truck, or SUV from Dobbs. But I can assure you, once you get there, if you choose to pull the trigger, you're going to pull it with our friends at Dobbs Ford. dobbsfordbirmingham.com. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So it was a big weekend in Boulder, Colorado, as, yes, they retired jerseys. They wrapped up spring football there in Boulder. And it was pretty interesting. We were just sitting here talking about the transfer portal and what should be expected. Take a listen to what Coach Prime had to say about now they're going to work to try to find players in the portal.
Let's start. One tremendous defensive tackle, another linebacker or two, two safeties, probably three corners, one receiver. That's a grown man, that's a dog. Couple running backs, tight end, maybe a guard, tackle, maybe two centers. Thank you.
All right, so if you're keeping score at home, that's one defensive tackle, 1 to 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, 3 cornerbacks, 1 wide receiver, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, maybe 3 interior offensive linemen. Needs 1 tackle for sure. That's his shopping in the portal.
So that was, if my math is correct, 15 players that he needs to get out of the portal.
Now, don't forget, one of those wide receivers needs to be a dog.
Yeah, because those are just out there on trees.
Yes, they're like ready to go.
Need more dogs.
Oh, my God.
Like ready to go. Also from the spring game, they announced that Colorado will erect a statue of former coach Bill McCartney outside of Folsom Field. McCartney, who led the Buffs to 3 Big 8 titles in the 1990 Split National Championship. He passed away back on January the 10th, so that is well overdue. Obviously, Colorado's kind of cleaning up some things, trying to, honor the past and the present in regards to some of the retirement. So that is much needed, a statue of Bill McCartney outside of the stadium. Also, the big story that led into the spring game was the retirement ceremony for the numbers of their Heisman Trophy winner and their quarterback. So take a listen to this exchange with Coach Prime on the retirement of those jerseys over the weekend.
Well, we wait. What we have wanted him to see, to be involved in it, to feel the love, the respect, the appreciation. Why we wait? See, that's the kind of junk that you guys got to run with. Say something about that. He can't enjoy that right now.
Well, I know it's been 2 years in the making, he said. So.
Making? Making? How are we in the making? This is the new generation. Everything y'all want, you want it right now, and you go get it right now. You don't wait for nothing no more, do we? We want to go, we call Uber. We want to eat, what we call? Uber Eats? Well, everything we get is right now. We want something, we order it off Amazon right now. We ain't in no waiting generation no more. That's over. That's a wrap on that. Everybody in here is impatient. You download stuff right now, putting it out as I speak. So this ain't that no more, man. Let's stop. And I'm sad because I wanted him to see that. Same thing with Rashawn Salam, right? How long did we wait? I say we because I'm a part of CU now. How long did we wait?
23 years after his Heisman.
After his what?
After his Heisman?
Yeah. How many years after his death?
1. Less than 1.
So we got to die to get recognized? Ain't nobody saying nothing in the church right now. Everybody got something to say otherwise. Hey, man, give people their flowers while they can enjoy them and they can smell them. That's how I get down.
I do agree with that last part.
I just wonder what in the world anyone at Colorado was doing over the last 20 years.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I agree with the sentiment of we need to honor people while they're alive and they can enjoy that. Totally understand that. You're telling me 5 years from now, Shedeur couldn't still enjoy having his jersey retired or something like that's to play devil's advocate. That's
just but I had no idea it was 23 years after he had played.
After his Heisman Trophy.
And that's more of an indictment on how out of touch. I know that the football program hasn't had a whole lot of success, but how out of touch do you have to be?
You had a football coach that won a national championship in 1990.
Yeah. Colorado was a relevant football program.
There's not a statue of the coach that won you a national championship.
Which that tells you where your priorities are. And it's not football. Which some people would say, good for CU.
And I will say this, if this was if this circumstance is what prompted them to go and honor a past Heisman winner who's unfortunately passed away, then good on Deion for making that happen. But yeah, I'm not buying into that for Shedeur and Travis.
Travis should.
That's not a question. I have no problem with that. He won a Heisman. Great. I'm probably never going to agree with retiring Shedeur's number.
Ever.
Mm-mm.
Well, no, because you can't go back and accomplish anything else. That's done. Great player. There's been a lot of great players that don't have numbers retired. A lot of them.
That's true as well. And a lot of greats that had their numbers retired, unfortunately, after they left this earth.
And I totally agree with that sentiment of it. You want these people to enjoy these things. Totally agree with that.
But not that would prompt you to just be immediate. Guy has an outstanding season and immediately retire it. Tragic things happen.
Correct.
But waiting 23 years, that's inexcusable.
No, I agree with that. But what happens if Julian Lewis comes in here, this 5-star quarterback, and he breaks Shedeur's records over the next 3 years?
What numbers is he wearing?
I don't know. Not 2. Not 2 or 12. But at that point, are you going to retire his number when he leaves? I would hope so.
He got a little fired up there, didn't he?
A little bit. We've seen him more fired up, though.
Yeah.
Seems like he's having a good, right now, they're at a good place with his rapport, with his media pool.
The preseason rankings haven't come out yet.
Do you think he'll go up on the coaches list?
Yes.
He won't be next to last?
I think he'll go up. I don't know how far Colorado as a team will go up.
So he went
year,
he went the opposite of Nick Saban with the bake the cake. He started talking about we want things immediate. We want immediate. And Saban was talking about baking the cake.
Yes. I do have to give credit to the reporter that said, was this not 2 years in the making, though? That was an excellent question. I love that.
There's still some things that you have to wait on.
Yeah, a little pettiness.
Like right now, I've spent a small fortune keeping 7 pieces of sod watered and 1 patch of my grass that got burned up late last summer.
You ever order something off of Amazon and says it's going to be there in 2 days and then it takes 3 or 4?
Yeah, like your surströmming.
It's ridiculous.
That thing got on a ship that apparently got confiscated at port. And they had to go through everything, and it just sat there.
Someone really bought this? Okay.
There's got to be drugs in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody would ever eat this.
We can't get the can open.
It was a fun weekend. I saw some of the clips of the ceremony, and it seemed like everybody had a good time in Boulder. So good.
It looked nice there in the stadium.
If they would have had, but nice. I would have gone out of my way to watch it if they would have played Syracuse.
Yeah.
In a spring showcase.
We had some comments about that too. Just someone else is going to have to do it first for it to be allowed, essentially. Very similar to what Fran Brown said about it. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be plenty next year.
Watch Steve Angeli tear it up in the spring game for Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
If Nico wins a Heisman at UCLA, did they retire it?
That would be something. Talk about a turnaround.
More three-man front on this Reaction Monday. Your calls, your texts. This is three-man front on Jocks 94.5. Eleven 47, Jocks 94.5. You know, water can find its way into any crawl space, bringing dangerous mold, mildew, and wood rot into your home. But APS can help you today. Simply call them at 205-951-9717. And not only can they help you with that mold, mildew, and potential wood rot, but they can help your home's foundation and provide valuable storage space as well. They're going to send one of their professionals at APS out to your home. They're going to design a custom solution for your house. Crawl space problems don't get better over time. They get better when you call 205-951-9717 and let them their award-winning crawl space encapsulation system that they can take care of you today. So start protecting your home with APS, established back in 1977 to solve the most challenging issues around your home. 205-951-9717 or visit their website at alabamaprofessional.com.
We got some transfer portal news that Pat has touched on throughout the show, and the latest being a former UCLA quarterback, Conrad, that apparently sees the writing on the wall with Nico Iamaleava transferring to UCLA over the weekend and signing a deal with them. So now you have a young man in Mr. Joey Aguilar who's looking for a new spot, and possibly we could just have a swap.
Yeah, it was reported by Pete Nakos that there are 3 teams to watch for Aguilar, and one of them's Tennessee, and then Tulane and Wake Forest are the other 2 schools. So, yeah, he's making about 1.2 at UCLA. That's the reported number for him, but played the last 2 years at App State, was their starter, had 6,700 passing yards, over 60 total touchdowns. So certainly you could do worse if you're Tennessee, but again, just in terms of winning the headlines, I don't know how many Tennessee fans are going to be pumped up that you're competing with the likes of Tulane and Wake Forest for your starting quarterback, but that is the world that we live in now. So
I know the conversation that you guys had, I think it was late last week, but from the basketball transfer portal with Chad Baker-Mazara being in the transfer portal, if he were to land, and you said absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
They're and joining Aiden Holloway. But I am seeing some of the tea leaves and some of the smoke that's out there that potentially Arkansas could be a landing spot. So we'll have to get our buddy Ty Richardson on if it does happen.
That would be something.
Imagine he and Coach Cal.
That'd be fun. Hey, I mean, Kentucky, they got more money, right? Might as well.
Kentucky is actually another name that
I'm sure they're a name for everybody at this point.
Just for our entertainment value, I would love for him to be in the Southeastern Conference.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Whenever they played Auburn again.
And preferably him coming to Neville Arena.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the only thing, was that Auburn really should have scheduled George Mason this year for their non-conference. You could have KD coming back to the jungle. So
KD.
Got to make sure we get this right with cheddar bacon lasagna. That'd be nice.
Now, where did Donaldson end up going from Michigan? I forgot.
He went to was it Miami?
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping all those former Auburn Alabama guys
but
would be in the Southeastern Conference.
He's not viewed as air quotes crazy.
No, not like KD.
But my question is, who's going to be that guy for Pearl that he's bringing in?
You got to have somebody, right?
Maybe it's these Division II dude.
Guy's a little squirrely.
Maybe so. Maybe that's his thing. How many technical fouls did he get?
I don't want to put that on Elijah Freeman.
They'll find somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah. The transfer from Texas Tech seems like he's a good kid that's got a good head on his shoulders, so I don't think it's going to be that guy.
I just like to think the first team meeting, it's like, all right, somebody's got to do it. Who wants to be the pain in the ass?
Where's my psycho?
Yeah. You got to have one.
Yeah, you do. It keeps things interesting.
That would be it. Arkansas, though.
Arkansas seems like that would be
that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good. I like that.
Would he? It's fascinating that Chad Baker-Mazara this past season, where he had been on that roster for the last 2 seasons, but this season it was where everybody started paying attention to everything that he did during a basketball game.
Well, and to be fair, I think KD maybe covered up some of those things as well, as that was, different, and he's not as good of a player as Chad Baker-Mazara, so I think maybe that covered up a little bit of it. But
I just want to know how much he agreed the contract that he supposedly signed with Auburn, how much that was worth.
And then what he's ultimately going to get.
And then how much he's going to have to pay back to Auburn.
Yeah, so the reports were that his camp had learned that they were offering for a comparable player that the guy's deal was maybe more, or
they essentially, after he signed his deal with Auburn, they realized that he could have gotten more money somewhere else.
Money was on the table.
Correct. Because, that's a guy that, based on what we know, again, we talked about it last week. Are we going to be shocked if he goes somewhere for $2 million? No.
No,
you
not
might
at
think
this
that's
rate.
crazy listening to it. But
No, not at this rate.
That's the market.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's a really good player.
His NIL valuation, according to On3, is $217,000.
Isn't that based on social media following? And
Wait, how much was that?
$217,000.
Well, it's more than that now.
Yeah, $217,000 is what it's currently listed at right now as I'm looking at the site.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to see any comparables that would be out there that. No, that's a steal. Something tells me you're not getting him for that.
No, I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere for less than 7 figures.
So what does that tell you? Because you go through the top 50 guys that have been in the portal, the top 50 according to On3. Most of them have already found their new team. But 1.2 million, 749,000, 771,000, 1.3 million. And then Chad Baker-Mazara is more towards the top of that list, and he's at 217,000. So is that a baggage thing? Is that what Mike Gittins was maybe alluding to when he joined you guys last week?
Perhaps.
He's a really good player. But there's some other things that you have to deal with.
So Arkansas has already gotten Pringle from South Carolina, and they're rumored now with Chad Baker-Mazara.
It's a whole new world. 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to our friend Dr. Mel. Hey, Dr. Mel.
Hey, my friend. How are you all this morning?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Dr. Mel.
Did you have a great Easter?
Great. Yes, I did a great Resurrection Sunday. Matter of fact, in the emergency room yesterday morning in Trust, for a little freestanding emergency room, we had a sunrise service for most of the staff that wanted to participate. So kicked the day off, a great celebration.
Nice.
So I pray that you all and your families had a great Resurrection Sunday. I have one comment about the Nico situation, and then we'll put it to bed. As I said to Conrad, what was his dad thinking? What were the people in this camp thinking? And I think I mentioned to you all that, for a number of years I represented some players and coaches, and still have a couple of coaches that I represent. And but someone didn't do their homework. They dropped the ball big time. Not only did Nico wind up with a lot less, and I understand that UCLA around $1.5 million, but here's the deal: is I think you all probably also aware of this. That the state of California has state income tax. Tennessee does not. And also, here's the icing on the cake that really dropped them. The cost of living for the state of California is roughly 45% higher than the state of Tennessee. So you throw in the state income tax along with the cost of living increase, 55% reduction off the lower amount he's already getting. So, but anyway, good riddance to them, and they feel they made the right decision. Godspeed with them.
Absolutely.
You have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Mel.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dr.
it. Appreciate it very much.
Quickly, we will go to Rick. Rick, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. Just real quick, at the end of football season, I called and asked a question about Alabama football. The coordinators, offense and defense, and you guys said you didn't think they would keep the defensive coordinator. Why do you think they've let it go this long and they're going to keep him for the next season? Thanks, and have a good day.
I don't remember saying.
I remember saying that about the offensive coordinator, but not about Kane Womack.
I remember there were rumors that he was up for head coaching jobs.
Right.
But not that Alabama was going to get rid of him.
No, based on the offensive performance and the struggles they had at times, I felt like there was going to be a change at OC. More on Reaction Monday. This is Three Man Front on Jocks 94.5. It is 12 noon. Welcome in. It's three-man front. Jocks 94.5. Landrum Roberts, Conrad Van Order, Molly Robinson. I'm Pat Smith with you until 2 o'clock here on Jocks 94.5. The ump up in Huntsville, Alabama. Down in the capital city of Montgomery, Jocks 740. Thanks for making us a part of your Monday. This is a big week. We've got the Cardinals and Braves. 3-game series starts tonight in ATL at Truist Park, as the Cardinals just coming off a 4-game sweep by the New York Mets.
Not of thee, by thee, like you said.
Yeah, by thee. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Braves coming off a 3-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins. So should be a lot of fun for me the next 3 days.
I needed that one for my psyche, for my emotions.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How'd your Tigers do this weekend?
They did.
They did
good? They won 3 of 4 against the Royals.
That's big.
Royals struggling.
Yeah.
Now we got the Padres.
Did you sweep the Rays?
Ow.
We're at home now.
No, we traded for the best closer in baseball, and then he allowed 4 runs in the bottom
Max
of the
Fried
ninth.
looked good for the Yankees.
Max Fried, he had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning, and then they called an error a hit, and that was that. But no, he's been excellent. They are
Serves him right.
undefeated in his 5 starts this year. I think his ERA is 1.42 right now. That has been a excellent investment, as has Goldschmidt.
$10 million, yeah.
Sorry, Landrum.
No, it's not your fault. He could have taken a lot less money and stayed.
That's right, taking that hometown deal.
How's that mustache looking? Very Grant Nelson-ish.
It's looking beautiful. Out there on the mound every 5 days. Spectacle.
Well, as Pat said, this is a big week because it's finally here, the NFL draft, and it's this Thursday. And for night 1 of the NFL draft, me and Pat, we will be at Trim Tab Brewing Company, downtown Birmingham, for their NFL draft party. So come and join us from 6 to 8. Get some great beer. Red Mountain Crawfish will be there. Also, Tub the Band will be there as well from 7 to 10. So that's our friends over at Trim Tab Brewing. We will be there this Thursday night.
Yeah, come by and see us over there on Thursday night. The 3-man front Twitter poll question of the day, Molly, had to do with salaries of the basketball coaches and football coaches. Some pretty interesting answers so far.
Yeah, which SEC men's basketball coach in the state should make more money than their football counterpart? Should it be Pearl more than Freeze, Oates more than DeBoer? Both should make more, or neither should make more. And right now winning, 56.8% of our voters saying Pearl should make more than Hugh Freeze.
Do you agree with that, Landrum?
Yes.
Do you think Oates should make more than DeBoer, Conrad?
No.
No?
No.
I will say that answer is in last with only 5.3%.
All right, so number 1 is Pearl should make more than Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Agree with that.
According to our listeners. Coming in at number 2, Molly, you said was neither?
Neither will make more. And that's at about 20.6. And then in third is both should make more.
How close is Pearl to Freeze in their salaries? It can't be that far
What's
off.
Bruce making, like $6 million?
Yeah, he had the escalator. I think they all pretty much do now.
I think the whole package, though.
Okay, yeah, he made $6 million this year. Hugh Freeze is at what, like 8?
It says, let me go back here. His salary for 2024, Hugh Freeze's, was $6,725,000.
Okay, so you're close.
So technically, yeah, pretty close. I remember back when Babe Ruth made, I think it was, became the first, I think, $100,000, $200,000.
$100,000 contract. Yep.
Yeah.
Great quote.
And they asked him about it. And he said, well, you're making more than the president now. And he said, well, I had a better year than the president. So, yeah.
He was a real nice guy, right?
The Bambino?
Yeah.
I always heard great things about the Bambino.
I've just read some books on his life, and interesting guy.
He was better than Ty Cobb.
Oh, I mean, everybody was better than Ty Cobb, let's be honest.
Who are we comparing Ty Cobb to?
That man would not be a professional athlete in today's day and age.
Yeah, Ty Cobb would have been better off being a dictator of a foreign country somewhere, doing horrible things. He was horrible while he was here. I'll tell you what, though, the Tommy Lee Jones portrayal of him in that movie was
great movie.
Yep, and part of it filmed here in Birmingham.
Absolutely. Rickwood Field.
Oh, yeah.
No, a lot of people that were extras in that.
Yeah, if you're listening to us,
Very cool.
just honk your horn out there in traffic if you were a part
Yeah,
of
there
that.
was a lot of people that was a part
And
of
then
that.
they filmed that in the summertime, and everybody had to wear the
Oh, yeah, the authentic clothing.
The wool uniforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
That'd be
they're
fun.
a little bit warm. So CeeDee Lamb does an interview over the weekend, and this number just kind of jumped off the page during this interview. He says he spends $1.3 million per year on ice baths, red light therapy, hyperbaric chambers, and more for his body and health. $1.3 million.
Who is this?
CeeDee Lamb. He says, every 2 weeks, I'm spending 50 grand. There's 52 weeks in a year. There's your number.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I don't know. There's other athletes that have come out and said very similar. Like I know LeBron, I think LeBron said he spends like $2 million a year on his. I know Tom Brady was the same way.
What are the varying options you have for an ice bath?
Well, I think the one he gets, it's like a cryo chamber and they just freeze you in time and then you can come out whenever you want. For $50,000, it better be.
No, I'm being serious. An ice like an ice tub. What are they adding things to it?
Well, have you seen, so they have these things now where you can go and like you walk into it and it gives you an ice bath in like a minute. So you get the effects of actually sitting in an ice bath, but you can do it really fast.
Okay, I'm all about that.
It's just like this whole body encapsulating thing. Yeah, and you go in there and essentially it just speeds up your recovery process and allows you to keep going.
Okay.
Which, hey, I mean, you got to think I don't know how much he's making at this point, but he's probably making about $30 million a year. If you're spending 3% of your annual salary on keeping your body in check so you can go and perform at a high level.
But you know what? 1.3, that's better than making it rain at a strip club.
Absolutely.
Well, for most.
Well, maybe he does that too. I don't know.
Maybe that's included in the ice bath.
He does, but you can write that off.
Actually, in the back of the strip club, if you believe.
Pat, he can totally write that off of his taxes, though.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Business expense.
Yeah.
And living in Texas.
No state income tax.
That's right. He's sitting pretty.
Yeah, he's
not worried.
He's
about
doing
it.
well.
Now, nobody else on the roster is, but I'm glad to know that he's, he's taking care of his business, making sure he can go out there and perform.
How much do you think Arch Manning spends on ice baths? Or you think that's provided in his NIL deal?
I bet Arch Manning takes an ice bath in a different Lamborghini every day. They drive it up there to DKR. They fill it up with ice water. It's like, what do you want today? You want the Urus? You want the Aventador? What do you want today? That's how they do things.
Yeah, I would guess that they probably have everything that Arch needs. He probably
All
gets
provided.
his own. Yeah. He probably didn't ask for anything. They're just like, no, you get your own tub.
Yeah, I'd be interested to wonder, does he have did Peyton and Eli, I don't know, does he have the same trainer as them or something? I just kind of wonder if it's in the family, if he has his regimen, a personal trainer, and all this stuff similar to what they did when they were in the NFL.
So on this line, what is something that if you had the money to do recovery-wise, treatment, that you could use every single day in your personal lives?
Probably hydrotherapy.
So just keep you hydrated?
The IV stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like needles, but I love the way that the IV stuff makes you feel immediate.
Oh, you feel like $1 million?
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
It'd just be tough on the veins.
It would be. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And people start talking.
That's why you go between the toes.
What movie was that? I forgot. What was the movie, Pat? It was the military guy that had the problem, and he would shoot up between the toes. We're probably giving some poor soul an idea right now.
Oh, some of the stories I'll hear, I'm sure Pat's heard some too, but that Paige will come home with of couldn't use the wrist vein, had to go
Main vein?
No, had to go in between a toe or something because somebody's just ruined.
I thought, didn't you for a second think he was going main vein?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No. Just what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's no way I could give that to myself.
God, no.
You got to call.
I know, I've seen my
hit
wife
me over
has
the head with a brick before you do that.
My wife has given herself an IV at home before.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. Like, why? And she just sits there casually. She'll sit on the couch and.
When she was going through nursing school, would she practice on you?
No, she asked me multiple times to try an IV, and I said, no, you figure that out at work first, and then I'll let you do it once you've mastered it.
Yeah, you let her do the catheter.
Well, that was necessary.
You're so weird.
That was necessary.
What about you, Pat?
Did Leanne ever practice that on me?
The IV?
No.
No.
No, because when we first met, she was in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Yeah, different.
So yeah, a little bit different dealing with an adult vein and someone that's very premature.
Phone lines are open.
They're ringing.
Yeah, they are ringing. 800-239-WJOX or the text line 205-834-9450. DJ Pip says Arch Manning takes ice baths in Fiji water.
That's probably right. Probably right.
Oh. Bama hater back to the statue talk says, didn't Bama give Nick a statue while he was still coaching? On the flip side, will Deion retire another player's jersey after the 25 season with equal numbers to Shador? Valid question. Josh wants to know, is there a Gene Chizik statue coming soon?
I think there should be a statue at the Auburn Opelika Airport where Gene Chizik got off the plane and that famous.
But you have to.
That guy was yelling. And
but you have to have Guy too.
Yeah, like over on the side.
Yeah,
of the tarmac.
You're setting the scene of what happened. We want a winner, not a loser.
Yeah.
Wasn't that it? Is that
5-19. We want a winner, not a loser. Something like that.
Well, and to be fair,
he was 5-19.
He was 5-19, and his last season at Auburn did not go very well.
Ofer did not win a game in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah,
0-8. But he did win a national championship.
He did,
and he was able to obviously out-recruit Dan Mullen for Cam Newton.
Yes, that's right.
He had a better relationship with Cam Newton's dad.
He was not going to be a rented mule.
That donation Gene Chizik gave to the church in Atlanta for Cam Newton went a long way. Why is he so loud in there?
He is very loud. It's very loud. No, just keep doing it.
We want to hear this
hearing
conversation.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
They're having
There's no way that nobody can not hear that.
It's just very loud. Everything okay?
Yeah, sorry. I just get excited when I talk to people that listen to our show.
You're the gatekeeper.
That's right.
I mean, people know instantly within 5 seconds of how you greet them on the phone if they actually want to go through with a phone call.
That's right.
You're like a greeter at church.
Yeah. And people are generally very nice. Sometimes not, but generally very nice.
You handle it well.
Thank you.
Very diplomatic.
I just wanted y'all to know that what was going on in here.
Oh, we couldn't miss it.
I don't blame you for keeping the door open in there, though. It was a little balmy.
It's a little toasty.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got excited.
All right. We're going to get to your calls, your text messages. This is Reaction Monday. This is Jocks 94.5. Tonight you can catch the Atlanta Braves take on the St. Louis Cardinals right here on Jox 94.5. Schwelly on the bump for the Braves, 1-1 on the season, 2.55 ERA.
Get it back, kid. Get it back. Let's go,
Schwelly.
Eric Fetty on the bump for the Cardinals. He's 1-2 with a 3.43 ERA. The Cardinals are league worst, 1-9 on the road this year.
Do you like Fetty cheese?
No, I do not. When I go to my favorite Greek restaurant, I tell them to leave it off.
You don't. You're not down with it.
I am not.
Oh man, I had like a salad, like a cold salad that was served with it. Had some other stuff in it. Y'all probably wouldn't like it. Maybe you, Conrad. But
I'm worried about my cheeses too.
It was really good. You don't like feta cheese?
It's fine.
I like feta.
By the way, going back to the conversation, I can't remember how we got there, about the guy in the movie shooting up between his toes.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael texted into the show, and he said it was Matt Damon that was shooting up between his toes in the movie with award-winning Meg Ryan's character, and that was Courage Under Fire. Remember that movie?
I do.
Mid-90s?
Yep.
Yeah. It was really good.
Have to go check that one out.
I had forgotten that it was Matt Damon, and I haven't double-checked it, but I take Michael's word for it.
Do you have any of those kind of feet pics on your website?
No.
Oh.
No. Mm-mm.
Yuck.
I just didn't know if that was a different category.
No, we're starting to spin off in all kinds of stuff.
Like elbows, or what are we talking here?
Cankles.
Oh.
Yeah, you showed me one of the pictures of the possibilities from the beach this weekend.
Yeah. She might make.
She's gonna be like the front page.
The front page of the website.
Yes.
That tells you this is the site for me.
She's a big one.
Well, Pat, they need anklets too.
Somehow I knew that was going to get brought up somehow, some way.
I mean, you don't show me pictures from the beach and expect me not to say something.
No,
Come on.
I don't have any problem with it. Yeah.
It's good to have Landrum back.
Oh, how about our friends at Mandu? Mandu, right there in downtown Homewood. You can get in today, and if you want to avoid,
needs to get into Mandu.
Boy, she needs a lot of Mandu, and
Probably
for individuals like this particular person that Pat is referencing. Mandu, you can go in and you can try it. Your first visit is going to be free, and they're going to put you through the workout. And the great news for that individual and others that don't want to go through a 6 to 8 hour workout is that Mandu, it's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. So they put you in a suit. I don't know if they have a suit for her, but they will figure it out, and they'll hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various parts of your body. And because of that technology, the 15-minute workout is the equivalent to 6 to 8 hours in a gym. Mandu in downtown Homewood. Be sure to tell Paul about the conversation I had around this while doing his live spot here on the radio. MANDUU.com. Mandu. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jox 94.5 sent you.
So we all repented yesterday morning, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do it again.
Yep. Okay.
You guys let me down this road. Horrible. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of texts there, but I'm gonna have to sift through these.
Man, I'm sweating out of my eyeballs. This is crazy.
I'm gonna need a Tyvek suit for this one. Yikes. Remember, feta is better. Okay, I like feta cheese. It's good. Molly,
I like it.
You
Yeah.
like? It's good.
I like feta.
Feta cheese, goat cheese, gorgonzola. It just depends.
I like gorgonzola.
You like
my wife
gorgonzola,
does
but
not.
you don't like feta.
Well, okay, let me put it like this. I've had gorgonzola mixed in with like a macaroni and cheese with other cheeses.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Oh, it's okay. Gives it a little bit of that sharpness.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Paige doesn't. She said it tastes like a barn.
This one, Landrum, you have not told us who won the national championship in volleyball yet. So the big tournament, the NCAAs, that's coming up not this week, but next week. And it begins on Friday in Gulf Shores. This was something that was new to Gulf Shores. It was the Division II, Division III, and NAIA. You had Mary Hardin Baylor. You had Weber. And I'm trying to remember. Was it University of Tampa? I don't know. It was a long 3 days. It was a lot. It was 755 total matches.
Huh. You called all of them?
No. Gave results for all of them. But no, not all. It was a lot.
That's a lot.
And I apologize, but it was just, I don't want to say the wrong team. Pat not liking feta. But thinking other stuff is entertainment explains a whole lot. I know a lot of people that don't like feta. Brandon says, go ahead if you want to add.
No, I was just going to say, I assume that had to do with him getting an entertainment out of me potentially throwing up from the fish thing is where that, yeah.
Okay. I don't think Pat's a fan of that in general terms. It was just, and I would have, but I couldn't really say anything because I was the one who had the violent heaves.
Correct.
During that.
I was laughing the whole time.
Correct.
Yes.
That stuff doesn't bother me. For
Brandon,
whatever
feta
odd
does.
reason.
But feta.
It doesn't make me gag. I just choose not to eat it.
Do you like blue cheese?
No.
Okay.
What's the wildest cheese you like?
Probably goat cheese.
Goat cheese?
Mm-hmm.
Goat cheese, good. Man, you ever done goat cheese on a quesadilla?
Yes.
Ooh. Do goat cheese and
That
some
sounds good.
chorizo on a
That sounds
quesadilla?
good.
That sounds good.
Or a taco, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Tell Taylor to do that tomorrow.
I'm going to. Brandon says, y'all think Hugh Freeze is the Auburn coach in 2026? Serious question. I will say yes. Now, if this upcoming season goes like it, no, I think that's probably a more serious conversation about whether he would be there in 26.
I would say yes right now as well.
Besides losing your 17 of your starting 22, what excuse would you have based on the roster? And you said that it's the way that you like it now.
They're spending over $20 million on that roster.
Yeah.
I was about to say, and you heard him after, the A-Day practice of, this is the most complete offense we've ever had. We're in a spot where we can now compete because we've stacked up some top recruiting classes. This is it.
Drake wants to wish a happy birthday to the old ball coach.
80 years young.
Hey!
Steve Spurrier,
nice.
80 years old.
You think he's playing golf on his birthday?
Absolutely.
I bet he is. Enjoying a ice cold soft drink.
Yep, Mountain Dew.
Great taste.
Less filling.
Very nice. This one out of the state of Tennessee. I went to a day and got autographs on the field, and man, Bama's offensive line is, A day. Sorry. The A was not. But Bama's offensive line is massive in person, according to this listener.
Yeah, that's kind of been a problem the last couple of years. Not very nimble.
Yeah, size has not been their problem.
No. They got some big boys, though.
Appreciate all the entertaining texts. We read as many as we can without getting in trouble on the air, but we always read them off the air. 205-834-9450.
So are you taking Nick Castellanos tonight plus 450 to hit a home run?
A lot of people are.
Yeah, but you have to go because my wife didn't know this backstory, and she was fascinated when I told her about it when they were playing the Braves. Now, I don't know. This would be more in line of some of the other events that had happened in that timeline, right? But the day that they played the Braves, we had the tragedy of the helicopter that crashed in the Hudson. And I don't want to be disrespectful here, but was that not?
That's pretty horrible.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. I'm saying, though, on a world scale.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not going to get the eyeballs, the eardrums.
That's not part of the criteria for the Nick Castellanos.
Right.
Well, okay, and so my follow-up would be, because I'm not sure, did this event happen today or yesterday, technically? I don't know what time the news
I believe technically it happened on Monday. It did not happen on Easter.
Okay.
Early.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. A lot of people loading up on some Castellanos today.
So according to Vegas, him hitting a home run today is 3 times more likely than any other player on the board.
If you know, you know.
Plus 450.
I think I might feature that in my prize picks today.
Ooh.
I did think it was interesting because what happened when they were playing the Braves in that particular instance, I think he went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. So, but no, maybe I'll feature that one today.
I mean, he's having a nice little year. He's hitting over 300. He's been a good player for the
Have you
Phillies.
seen all the horrible things happening?
Fair.
When we come back on Three-Man Front, we'll do some Pat Ponders a bit early, some interesting questions to ask the gang as we're all back together. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks 94.5. Stallions a big winner over the weekend. They're back at home coming up this Friday as they take on the Memphis Showboats. Birmingham now 3-1, a 3-game winning streak. They take care of Houston over the weekend, 23-16. The big question is Matt Corral, will he be available for Friday night's game? As Cookus came in for the injured Matt Corral. He went 1 for 2, 36-yard completion on third down. Corral threw for almost 200 yards before he got injured, rushed for another 52 yards. Deion Kane, 3 receptions, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. The Thicka Kicka from the University of Missouri, Harrison Mevis, 3 field goals, 35, 48, and 50 yards as the Stallions get the big road win, as I mentioned, back at Protective Stadium on Friday night.
Well, the Braves weren't the only team to break out the broomsticks this weekend as Wallace State softball swept their 4-game series against Calhoun to run their winning streak to 9 games in a row and maintain first place in the ACCC with a conference record of 20-4. The Lions softball and baseball will both begin their 4-game series against Coastal Alabama South this Thursday. For more information on those series, go visit them online at athletics.wallacestate.edu.
So over the weekend, it was made official yesterday afternoon that UCLA is bringing in Nico, the former quarterback for Tennessee. He is now going to be the new quarterback for UCLA. Rumored to make around $1.5 million heading to the West Coast. And now it looks like the quarterback that UCLA had signed for $1.2 million, Joey Aguilar, who was at App State last couple of years, threw for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, around 61 touchdowns to be exact. He is now in the transfer portal, and it is rumored that the University of Tennessee is looking at Aguilar of heading to East Tennessee. So wouldn't that be something? They just basically traded quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, again, we kind of joke about it, and while, yes, it would be a funny situation all around, again, if you're Tennessee, you could do a lot worse than a guy like that. He has experience. I know it's at App State, and the SEC is a completely different monster, but he's a nice little quarterback. There's a reason that he was getting paid $1.2 million to go to UCLA in the first place, so we'll see if it's him, Angeli, or someone else there in Rocky Top.
We will see what happens. Let's do some Pat Ponders on this Monday, brought to you by Courtesy GMC. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. You're not going to find any better deal than right there at Courtesy GMC in Trussville, right off of I-459, exit 32 in Trussville. Matter of fact, they're going to tell you they want you to go to courtesybirmingham.com. They want you to compare and contrast the offers that they have on their website on these brand new GMCs, whether it's the Acadia, the Terrain, the Sierra, I should say, the Yukon XLs. They have it all right there at Courtesy GMC, and the deals will not be beat. So go by and see Josh Gargis, Drew Lawley, and the fantastic team. It's in their name, Courtesy GMC in Trussville, off of exit 32, courtesybirmingham.com. Question number 1. Should the lack of portal movement for Alabama football cause you concern for a team that went 9-4 last season?
Yeah, I know. You're all looking at me.
Well, you're your spokesperson. So.
Yeah, I wish they paid me. No, for me personally, no. And the reason for that is because you're not having anybody leave. Now, if you were seeing a bunch of people hop in the portal and Alabama wasn't pulling anybody back out of the portal, I think there would be reason for concern. And while, yes, we know tight end's a little thin, you could use maybe another O lineman, another D lineman. I'm not going to sweat it because I'm looking at it as Alabama's keeping their roster together and maybe they're deciding to pony up a little more money to some of their depth pieces than go out and get somebody new.
If there was one position from last year, position group, that you believe led to Alabama not making a college football playoff, what was it?
Quarterback.
Okay. That's what I assumed you were going to say.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Melanie?
Molly? I would say no. I don't think there's any reason to worry right now for Alabama.
Yes, but this will be revisited.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Should put a lot of faith in the people you already have on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a rinse and repeat of the likes of, well, it doesn't matter who it's against. If you get a rinse and a repeat and you have more than 2 losses and you fail to make a college football playoff.
Yes.
But
right now we're
very impressive that the roster has stayed intact
Mm-hmm.
for whatever that means.
12-0 incoming, baby. Be ready.
Collective doing work.
That's right.
All right, question number 2. Last year, UCLA's offense finished 14th in the 18-team Big Ten Conference. Do the Bruins finish better than 14th in the league this season with Nico as their starting quarterback?
Yes. I think they do. I just, without knowing a ton about Aguilar and UCLA, Nico's still a good quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback. No, but maybe potentially he could be. Yeah, they're better. They go back to the drawing board. I don't think it's all Nico, but Nico will get a lot of the credit. But yeah, they finish
better than 14th.
Better than 14th. Pat, I'm gonna say I think they improved their
top 10.
They're 10th.
Okay.
I was going to say top 10 as well. I don't think they'll be as bad because, Landrum said, Nico is a good quarterback, decent quarterback. So I think they'll be better.
And he's
14.
taller.
Yeah.
He is that.
He's taller. You can see.
Yeah, looking at what they had last year, Nico had about 300 more passing yards and 3 more passing touchdowns than Ethan Garbers did for UCLA last year. So, yes, I think they will be better. I think they will be the 13th best offense in the Big Ten.
Conrad.
So just enough.
Just enough.
Okay.
But they're in LA.
With USC.
In the Rose Bowl.
That's all that Deshaun Foster knows about his program.
That's all you need to know, man.
That's all we need to know.
We got Nico.
Well, it would be nice to be able to know the location. That does help.
Question number 3. Today in Boston, they'll conduct the 128th running of the Boston Marathon. If you're a runner, which would you want to run in? Boston Marathon, New York City Marathon, or any Olympic marathon?
I think there's something about. I would probably go Boston, but there's something about
just because it's the oldest.
Yes,
Yeah.
and in the tradition of it, but also just there's something about being like the best marathon runner and then not using that talent elsewhere. Like that's your whole life is training for those marathons and just going out there and kicking butt. There's something I respect that, right? Because you're not out there, you're not looking for a bunch of money or fame or fortune. You like to run.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd go Boston Marathon.
I've never been to Boston, and I want to go to Boston, so that would be a
Two
plus
birds with one
plus.
stone. There you
Yep. It feels like Boston would be cleaner than running around New York City.
Yes. Absolutely.
I would pick the Boston Marathon.
And
It's kind of one of the most iconic ones as well.
It seems like the after race get together
in
with the
Boston?
participants would be more
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, yeah. Straight to the pub.
Plus, you could go over to the baseball game. Patriots Day.
After we park the car. Was it?
Park the car.
Park your car. Yeah.
I think Boston. That'd
What?
be cool.
Just a big old bowl of chowder after you finish that marathon.
Sounds awful. That and a nice Sam
Hot,
Adams.
chunky
Ugh.
chowder.
Not to mention the fact that obviously, the Summer Olympics, it's kind of warm and you're running a marathon.
Oh, yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, who wants all that?
Mm-mm.
Question number 4. On Saturday, the Stanford softball team set an NCAA attendance record with a crowd of 13,207 while facing rival California at the school's football stadium. The Cardinals are playing their home games at Stanford Stadium this season while their ballpark undergoes a $50 million renovation. If Alabama or Auburn held a softball game inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare Stadium, do you think it would surpass the 13,207 record that has now been set?
If they really incentivize fans, they had some other stuff around it. Let people know we're trying to break the record, by the way, for all of those in attendance. But yeah, I think that you could get enough support.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I don't know enough about Auburn softball and how I'm sure their fan base is very good, but I know firsthand with Alabama's, those people love some Alabama softball. So if you're saying you could move that out of Rhodes, which is already, I mean, it's a nice stadium for what it is, but it's not very big, and you go put that in Bryant-Denny, I'm very confident Alabama would fill that thing up.
They would break that record?
Yes.
I think if they played it up, because it kind of brings me back to the volleyball day that Nebraska did. They planned that for months, weeks in advance, and obviously they broke the record. So I think kind of like what Landrum said, if you told fans we're trying to break the record, there's kind of a day with it, an event, I think absolutely.
Well, and who are you playing, right? I think that's
Right.
part of it too, right? If you're bringing in, like, if Alabama and Auburn were to play against each other, obviously that would
Won't
do
they have a stadium
numbers.
series where they play one at Bryant-Denny, then one at
That'd be cool.
Jordan Hare?
Yeah, but or Oklahoma's coming into town, something like that. You could definitely stir it up.
All right, fifth and final question on this Monday. On this date in 1982, the final episode of this CBS sitcom aired.
If you've ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kind of tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be, just maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
So WKRP in Cincinnati aired for 4 seasons, and it made Lonnie Anderson an American heartthrob. She went on to marry Burt Reynolds, if you remember that, Landrum.
Yes.
But here's my question. Is the WKRP in Cincinnati TV theme song a top 5 TV theme song of all time?
Not for me. I was born late 70s, so that was never. And I went back and I watched some of those episodes.
Just for Lonnie Anderson?
I'll be honest, yes. A lot of it had to do with Lonnie Anderson.
Or Venus Flytrap? Or Les Nessman, the news guy?
So that was back in the good old days of media.
That's what got you into radio, wasn't it? Watching WKRP in Cincinnati?
No, it's not. But no, I don't think I'm going to have it top 5. Cheers is going to be one.
Okay.
Oh, now that I'm having to think on the fly.
There's a lot of really good ones.
MASH.
But KRP is not in your top 5.
MASH would have been one. And honestly, and this was older, but it's one that it seems like everybody knows, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to say that one.
No, it wouldn't be top 5.
Okay.
What about you? Top 5?
No.
Okay.
It's good. Matter of fact, I think the extended version of the song was actually a top 40 hit.
MASH was good, and it didn't even have words. It was just, it didn't have words, did it?
Off the original movie, it did. Suicide is Painless. That's the name of the song.
Oh.
For MASH.
Yeah, well, I mean, no surprise. I've never seen that television show before in my entire life. But okay, so these are the 5 that I just came up with off the top of my head that I would have for TV theme songs. Fresh Prince would be up there. Full House. The Andy Griffith Show, just because the whistling is so iconic. You automatically know what it is.
It's a good one, Andy Griffith.
Game of Thrones for a more modern show because it's 20 minutes long. And for me personally, I think it's fun. Like, it's nostalgic for me. I'm not going to say it's the best, but I love it. Is Family Guy. That's a very iconic theme song for me as well.
It seems to me.
Yeah. Those would be my 5.
I've never seen that show either. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had, though, obviously Fresh Prince. I would put Friends.
So you
up
never heard
there.
that song we just played?
No,
Ever.
never. I had Fresh Prince, Friends.
Friends is a good one.
Friends is a good one.
Cheers. And then I guess Full House. I also haven't seen that many shows, though.
So Full House, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Miami Vice would be up there. Miami Vice is
Miami
iconic.
Vice.
Never seen the show, but I've heard the theme song.
Game
It's
of
very
Thrones, though, that would get you ready for the episode.
Sopranos is another one.
Mm-hmm.
The Office.
Yep.
Yeah, the Office one's good.
See, the problem nowadays is there really are no more, unless you're on HBO or
correct
a streaming, you're not going to have a long drawn out opening. Like back when you and I were
Yeah.
kids, every song had a a minute and a half.
A-Team was a great theme song.
Another good one.
Well, and a lot of the theme songs now, like even the Game of Thrones one, right, as good as it is, like there's no words, right? It's just instrumentation. Same thing with like the White Lotus. I think that has a very good intro, but it's just an instrumental. It's not. There's no words that go along with it. I miss that kind of it's like a little corny, but in a good way.
It's interesting how even generationally it'll span generations, even if like people will know the theme song, even if they don't remember watching the show.
Yeah. That is today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trustful. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. And they also bring you the Courtesy GMC text line, and the text line is exploding right now about TV theme songs. And we'd love to hear from you at 205-834-9450 or 1-800-239-WJOX. All right, so the texts are coming in. The phone calls are lining up. On this date back in 1982, WKRP in Cincinnati, great theme song. Maybe not the best. I just asked the question, was it a top 5? And everybody agreed no. And then so that has started the text line. A good friend of ours, Mike Newton from the Friends of Rickwood, he texted in. He said Hawaii 5-0 and Bonanza. Those were 2 good ones. Good friend Jody out in Trustful, who comes and sees us there at Social Taco, one of the top painters in the city of Birmingham. He gave me a text and told me that he was a little disappointed that Molly and Conrad did not know what WKRP in Cincinnati was.
Had no idea.
Know your history.
Yep. They were broadcast majors and they didn't know that. It's very disappointing. It's what they're teaching.
At least I knew
youth.
Andy Griffith.
No,
You did
Andy
know that.
Griffith was a good one. That was a good call by you.
So the text line is open, 205-834-9450. If you got a thought, opinion on that or anything else on this Reaction Monday, we welcome your input.
Another show that I didn't watch really at all. Welcome Back, Carter.
You know, my brother and sister,
Cotter.
my older brother and sister, they both watched that, and I was a little bit too young, but I do remember the song. That was a good theme song.
Did you ever watch Taxi?
I didn't know. It was another one.
Yeah, I didn't either. What about Barney Miller?
That was part of that old.
I'm just naming Braves Rain Delay.
Oh, like from the old
episodes
WTBS?
from- yeah, the Superstation.
I wasn't a fan of Barney Miller either.
No. Kevin texts in, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. What about the Jeffersons?
That is always ranked as one
it's a
of, one
good
of the
one.
top songs. I think Rolling Stones had it number 1. It did a top 100 of all time, and Rolling Stones had the Jeffersons at number 1.
Moving on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Hawaii 5-0. Good one.
Yep, Mike Newton brought that up a minute ago.
Good one. Happy Days. That was a good one. This one rolls in. WKRP wouldn't crack the top 500 theme songs.
Well, what 500 are ahead of it? I want a full list.
Full list.
All 500.
I do too. I want to know the other 499 and how they're ranked.
We'll talk to you in a year when you have your list done.
What about Mr. Rogers? That theme song.
Mr. Rogers.
Iconic.
It's a good one.
Look, when I learned more about Fred Rogers after his passing and the documentary that they did with he started out as a Presbyterian preacher, minister, and then got into it. I have a whole newfound respect. But I'll be honest with you, even as a kid, that show kind of creeped me out.
Yeah. I just never realized he looked so much like Tom Hanks.
I think it was the voices with the puppets that really freaked me out.
I could see that.
Oh my gosh, we have so many coming in. All right, we'll get to them. Keep the text rolling in. Favorite TV theme songs. 205-834-9450. Also, 800-239-WJOX. Jason, Eddie, hang out. We will get to your phone calls as well. And we'll keep you up to date. Anything that could be happening, and there's always something happening in the transfer portal, whether it be college football, college basketball. It's 3-man front here on this Monday. Glad you're choosing to spend it with us. We continue. Hour number 4 of the program comes your way next. Jocks 94.5, JocksFM.com, the Jocks 94.5 app, and wherever you wonderful fine people stream.
Welcome in. It's Reaction Monday, fourth and final hour of the program. Pat Conrad, Molly Landrum with you until 2 o'clock. Been watching the transfer portal. Not much breaking news throughout the morning from that aspect.
Still waiting on cheddar bacon lasagna.
Yeah, see where he's going to go. Word is Arkansas now interested, maybe even Kentucky. So we'll wait to see what happens. Last hour, we did some Pat Ponders, and one of the questions that has garnered a lot of attention on social media and also our Courtesy GMC text line is top theme songs from television shows. Today, on this date, back in 1982, the television show WKRP in Cincinnati went off the air, and that was not saying that was one of the top theme songs of all time, but we just asked the question, would you have ranked that in the top 5? And everyone agreed no, but that started the whole conversation, Landrum, to a lot of people wanting to throw in their 2 cents of their favorite theme songs from TV shows.
Yeah, and I go back to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Can anybody recall when that debuted? Because I feel like that I was either in middle school. I think I was in middle school or maybe...
I'm thinking like early 90s, right?
4th or 5th grade.
1990.
But I can remember the promos coming on for it and thinking yes, because we knew who Will Smith was. But also, if I'm correct, the other show that they were debuting was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I thought, man, these 2 shows are going to be instant hits. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I don't know how many episodes it actually made it, but Fresh Prince, much different story.
Yeah, great show.
Joey Mullins over at Stanford University, the outstanding SID over there.
Yeah,
he tweets into the show and he says, best TV theme song was the one from Greatest American Hero. That was another top 40 hit, that theme song.
I would have to hear it. I can't.
You would know it.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. Second Generation Masonry. That's a name you should know if you listen to the show by now. If you're looking to upgrade, improve, maybe create something outside of your home for that extra curb appeal, they can do it from decorative stone. You want a custom driveway, walkway, maybe some new steps. There's all kinds of things that they can do, ornamental stuff there around maybe a feature of your yard that you want to really stand out. But also outdoor fire pits, fireplaces, and if you're in commercial construction, they can handle a slab, whatever you're looking for as well. It's Second Generation Masonry. Look at the website. Look at all the completed projects that they have, and they will take care of you today. Get the free quote today, secondgenerationmasonry.com, and always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
T-Town, Alabama has tweeted into the show, and he says, Unsolved Mysteries is one of the best.
That's a good one.
And if you don't remember the original version, they resurrected the show on Netflix, and they used the same music.
Yeah, and Robert Stack was the perfect person to host that show.
Very much so.
Because his voice, and Robert Stack, do you remember Caddyshack 2? But Robert Stack being in Caddyshack 2 and playing a role in that?
Yes.
And Dan Aykroyd as well. We'll get to your phone calls, 800-239-WJOX on TV theme songs. And let's go first to Eddie. Hey, Eddie, welcome in.
Hey, thanks, guys. First of all, on WKRP in Cincinnati, I can't believe, I know Conrad's too young, but I can't believe I'm 59. Any red-blooded male my age did not watch WKRP in Cincinnati just to see Lonnie Anderson.
I admired it, but I didn't watch it. I just watched her.
I had 3 posters on my wall growing up. I had a picture of Alabama football for that scheduled year, and then I had a picture of Farrah Fawcett's famous poster and Lonnie Anderson in a string bikini.
There you go.
3 posters I kept on my wall.
There you go.
I loved Lonnie Anderson. But when you talk about theme songs, I think it's to me, Hawaii 5-0, SWAT, like you said, the Jeffersons. But me too, I haven't heard mentioned yet that you could sing along with, and everybody knew. Was All in the Family and the Beverly Hillbillies.
That's good.
Oh, that is true.
Oh, Hillbillies, that's good.
2 good ones.
Yep.
Everybody could sing along with the Beverly Hillbillies song. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I mean, I knew it word for word when it was on,
Can you start it? You want to do it? We can join in. Ready?
Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer couldn't keep his family fed.
And one
day he was shooting at a coon. Up through the ground come a bubbling pool. Oil, that is. Black gold. Texas tea. Beverly, and then they go into the chorus.
That's
I'm not going
great.
to sing because I can't sing it.
No, that's okay.
But yeah,
That's
I
great.
mean, I still know it. I still know it today. I mean, oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That's
to me,
great.
that was like the greatest one ever. Just, I guess, because I remember it, maybe. But
Oh, that's awesome, Eddie. Thank you.
all right, thank you guys. Have a great day.
You too, Eddie. Thanks for the call.
Let's go to Jason. Hey, Jason.
Hey, man. What about Sanford and Son and Seinfeld?
Sanford and Son. Braves rain delay.
Yeah, and I put also what was the other one he just mentioned?
Sanford and Sons, and what was the other one, Jason? Jason.
He's gone.
It sounded like he said Feinbaum.
No. He said Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Oh.
Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's another good one.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Curb's a good one.
Remember the theme song from Silk Stockings?
I do not.
I don't either. Let's go to Roll Tide, Rob.
All right. Love. All right. How about Friends? That's a pretty good little thing that they got going on. But what about Gilligan's Island?
Gilligan's Island's a good one.
Molly called Gilligan's Island. She liked that one.
Did she? I didn't hear it. My apologies.
That's all right.
My apologies.
No reason to apologize.
It's okay,
hey,
Rob.
Hey, get off the subject just a bit. Hey, Pat, did you see over the weekend that the NCAA is dropping we're talking about college baseball here now, the roster from 40 to 36, but they're raising the scholarship limits from 11.7 to 32. Thoughts?
Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. I did not see that. I will have to do some looking around and find out more about that. That's interesting.
Well, because you remember a few weeks ago or a few months ago, I had mentioned, why does everybody else have all these scholarships and college baseball is like number 3 in the thing?
Correct.
They were 11.7.
That's right.
Scholarships. I don't know if y'all remember that conversation or not. But anyway, yeah. Perfect. Hey, does Nico's family realize that even though he's taking 1.7, but he's going to California, does he realize they have like a 58% tax there? And so he's not even going to make that.
Well, if they didn't, they're about to when he gets that first installment.
Well, they should know that, right?
And they're
from there, yeah.
Yeah.
They're from there. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, they compare and contrast what they got in Knoxville as compared to Los Angeles,
which has
California.
Tennessee has no state income tax.
Correct.
They're one of 16 states that don't. And California's got the highest. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out. But anyway, Pat, I kind of just want to bring that up about college baseball. It's going to make it so much. It's going. You know what? It's going to make it far better because you know what? We're going to have high school players go to college instead of spending 10 years in the minor leagues before they get to the major leagues.
Yeah,
that's
probably
just
right.
kind of what I'm saying.
Yep.
All right. I hope everyone had a great Easter and worship the way. And thank you guys again for all y'all do. And I hope everybody enjoyed their families and had a great holiday weekend. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call.
Man. Let's go to Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, real quick. Major League Baseball, they're trying to get kids out of high school to play pro ball, sign a contract. That way they're not get damaged goods when they come out of college. And what they do is if the kid doesn't make it, gets cut, or gets a catastrophic injury, they pay them to go to a 4-year public university anywhere in the country.
Oh, wow.
They've been doing that now for about the last 10, 12 years. Hey, so I see Robin Williams on, it was either Johnny Carson late in his career or Jay Leno, and they were talking about the number one show on TV was The Cosby Show, and they couldn't figure out what the theme song was. Well, Robin Williams says, I got one for you, and he stands up and he walks out on stage, and he starts singing, just sit right back, hear a tale from the faithful trip. It started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. He sings the whole Gilligan's Island theme song, and the whole audience stood up. He had them all singing.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And that,
wow.
That show hadn't been on in like 12 years, because it had a short run. And then also I saw the other day with Mary Ann, she's the only actress on that show, the only actor that actually took deferred payment and royalties on future shows. Nobody else did that. She's still getting paid.
That is great. That is a wise business move by her.
You got it. All right, guys.
All
I
right.
guess you can tell I'm on the road today.
That's all right.
In the car.
Appreciate you listening. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks,
All right.
Dave.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in some of the Gilligan's Island episodes, did we ever figure out how did the Globetrotters get there? And then how do they leave? Was that written into the storyline?
Wait, they did a Harlem Globetrotters crossover?
Yeah, there were multiple times that you would have people show up on the island.
Yeah.
And they always found a way to get off the island.
So is that like the running joke kind of the show is they would always be able to get out?
But it seems like somewhere in the plot, they were ready to go and leave with whoever showed up on the island, and then something just crazy happened where they couldn't do it.
Yeah. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories out there.
Man,
about
yeah,
Gilligan's
there
Island.
are. And there was supposed to be, I think there was supposed to be a movie that was made and then potentially another launch of Gilligan's Island.
Well, I mean, I brought it up on the show before. I was one of the Pat Ponders questions about if you watch the original season, there was another member of the SS Minnow on the boat that was unaccounted for. If you do the theme song and all the names,
I bet the skipper ate him.
but if you watch the opening scene of them pulling out of the port and you count the people on the boat, there's an extra person on the boat.
So he went when it got choppy.
Maybe Gilligan iced him.
Be funny at the end of the show, the season or the series finale is, yeah, actually, this show is all about cannibalism the whole time. You've been wondering where that guy was, haven't you? They've survived a long time on this island, haven't they?
And of course, everyone just kind of marked it up. Said, well, I mean, basically, it was somebody in continuity just didn't, they got the shot of a boat pulling out of the port, and oops, we didn't do the counting. Didn't realize that was going to be a big deal later on.
I was about to say, you see stuff like that from time to time. Like, I remember when, was it Game of Thrones, where there was a Starbucks cup or something in one of the, and everyone
scenes,
freaked
yeah.
out because, people just, it happens.
Wait, they didn't have Starbucks back then?
No, in
Back when?
ancient dragon times or whatever. No, they did not.
Were you Ginger or Marianne?
I was always preferential to Marianne. How about you?
Yeah.
You like the actress Ginger?
Yeah, kind of.
I had an opportunity to interview Marianne. We interviewed her on the Fine Bomb show.
Oh.
Very nice lady. Very nice.
She more talkative than Charlie Ward?
Very much so.
Now, Ginger, she was always ready to party. Seemed like.
She always had that sequin dress on.
She did.
In the balmy island temperatures.
Yeah.
Always looked very good.
Yeah, she was always ready to accept an award. Then the professor, he had to think, man, like surely I am smart enough to get us off of this island. And he could never do it. Now we continue with your text, 205-834-9450. Oh my gosh, some of these I've totally forgotten about.
My goodness, this might be a record of text messages.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Ah, that's a good
That's a
one.
good
Waylon
one.
Jennings.
Think
Some
about
good
it.
old boys.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that one.
BB said, yeah, did you mention Cheers? That is where I'm going to go first every single time. Yes, we mentioned Cheers. Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Away from all your trouble sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
That was a great rendition.
Sanford and Son. Threw that one out there a lot. Appreciate BB, the text. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. More Sanford and Son.
Well, see, and that was one where I've never seen that show, but even just hearing you like kind of hum it or give the general tune, immediately I'm like, oh, I've heard that before. I know what that is.
Married with Children. Yeah, Frank Sinatra, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so you have the Rolling Stones rankings, correct?
Yes, I do.
What's their top 10 from 10 to 1?
From 10 to 1, at number 10, they have Too Many Cooks.
Sorry, what?
From Adult Swim?
I've never seen that.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
How do you know what that is?
You
I've
know
never
what?
even heard of that.
That makes par for the course for Rolling Stone.
I can't believe you know what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Too many cooks? Is it meth?
Just know things.
No, it's a joke, but it's like
Huh.
it's meant to be a parody of an 80s sitcom where it never ends. Like it's a 15-minute intro and the whole show is just an intro to a show and it's just constantly introducing new characters. It's when I was in college and me and my friends would probably indulge in some things we weren't supposed to, that's the kind of stuff you would watch.
Gotcha. Well, number 9, they have the OC.
I just can't believe Pat knows what it is. Is that the one with Lauren Conrad?
Sure. I've never seen this one either.
The OC, they had the song by who did the theme song? Is it listed? It was a top 40 hit. Was it by The Heights, I think?
Okay. Because that show was, early 2000s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 8, they have Friends.
Yeah.
I figured that would be a little bit higher.
Classic one.
So no one told you. Yeah.
Number 7, they have the Fresh Prince. It's a good one. Number 6, they have the Twilight Zone.
Ooh,
I forgot
good.
about that
Twilight
one.
Zone's a good one.
Yeah.
5, they have Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
I've never heard of this one either. Number 4, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
That's a show?
Aired from 2015 to 2019.
Was that like on the CW or something?
It was,
There
yeah.
you go.
There you go.
I've never heard of
That
it.
and Live Golf.
Wow. Yeah, never heard of that one. And that
I
was
remember
number
the
3?
movie. I remember the movie.
Yeah, I get the number 3. Wow, must be really
All right,
good.
let me see who did the theme song.
That was number 4.
Or 4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's number 3?
Oh, I thought he was looking up something.
I was looking at, I don't know who did that. Who
Okay.
did the song. I
Well,
kind of
number
want to hear the
3
song now.
is Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
Okay.
2, there's a tie. The Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island.
No one's mentioned the Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch. Yep.
Here's a story of a lovely lady.
That is a good one. And number 1, the Jeffersons.
Wheezy. Who were their neighbors? Because the wife of
It's Lenny Kravitz's
Lenny
mom.
Kravitz's mom
Yeah.
was married to, was his name Tom?
Yeah.
George. Oh, George Jefferson, man. He was great.
A spinoff of All in the Family.
Steve says Psych.
That's my favorite show.
Is it?
It is. I love Psych.
I don't know if I think maybe I saw one.
During the break, I was like telling Conrad that Psych was my favorite, but I didn't think anybody else would know it.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Pat says the Dexter theme song. That was Nick Saban's one of his favorite movies or shows. Dexter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's a great show.
See, Family Matters, Full House, and do you remember Step by Step?
All those run together.
Yeah, all of those theme songs, to me, I get them mixed up. Step by Step was Patrick Duffy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That played Bobby in Dallas. Kyle says Family Matters theme song. Saved by the Bell.
Another good one.
That's a good one. Josh, American Horror Story.
Yeah, my wife and I like that one. It's weird. Very weird.
Fat Joe says The Honeymooners. Welcome back, Kata. Good Times. Those are all pretty good theme songs for shows. Thomas gives us his top 4 TV theme songs. Thank you, Thomas. Number 1, Chips.
Oh, okay.
Number 2, The Fall Guy. 3, A-Team. We mentioned that one earlier. And 4, Game of Thrones. Gilligan's Island, Beverly Hillbillies. Another vote for those guys. Dallas. I just mentioned that, but Dallas was a good one. And Hill Street Blues.
And you notice the theme developing there because most of those songs were all from the 80s when you still had very long opens to TV shows.
Yeah.
You just don't have it anymore. A lot of them just have cold opens.
Kyle from Dega says is the greatest American hero. This one rolls in. This is good. I mentioned the A-Team, but Knight Rider.
You
ever seen an episode of Knight Rider?
No, but I know Kit.
Okay. Kit, yep. That car talked to him
Mm-hmm.
way before your car
Talk to you now.
talked to you. Does your car talk to you?
Has anyone
No,
said,
it doesn't.
Has anyone said Green Acres?
Green Acres? No.
Oh.
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Green Acres is the place to be.
Mhm.
Farm living is the life for me.
How about The Wire, especially season 5? He said they're all the same, but just different remixes.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Molly about the White Lotus show. If anybody watches that one, they have a general theme, but each season takes place in a different country, and they remix it kind of based on the musical traditions of that country. It's very cool.
That Girl in MASH. Ooh, Wild Hands Robinson in Living Color.
Mm.
In Living Color. Jim Carrey, when we got his launch. More Friends. Airwolf. What about the Munsters? Or the Addams Family? What about the
Ooh,
Addams
Adams,
Family?
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
No one else has said St. Elsewhere. They have now.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Jetsons. Did you watch a whole lot of the Jetsons?
After school sometimes.
Yeah. So what about Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo.
That's a good
Scooby-Doo.
one.
Yeah.
That's such a good one.
That is a great one.
Daryl, Miami Vice theme song for sure.
But SpongeBob, yes.
SpongeBob is a classic.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of parents that probably despise it because of how many times
But
they have to
everybody
hear
knows
it. But
it.
it's iconic.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. Instrumental TV theme songs, all classics. Steve from Northport. Miami Vice, The A-Team. We've not heard this one yet. Simon and Simon.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. Rockford Files was another good one. You remember Rockford Files?
Rockford Files.
James Garner?
I don't think so. I don't think I ever saw it. Law and Order song.
Chung chung.
It's been on for 50 years. That and The Simpsons.
It has been on for a while. Yeah.
Them and The Simpsons.
Yeah, we got a ton that are coming in. Good Times.
Another good one.
Oh, Tom and Helen were the couple.
What were their last name?
I don't know why I want to say Benson, but it's not Benson.
No, that was a TV show.
Tom Benson.
Oh, from the Saints.
Yeah, it's not. Brandon from Alabaster, Sons of Anarchy, favorite TV theme song or favorite theme song and show.
It was Willis. That was her last name.
The Willises.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you talking about, Willis?
Is that what that's from?
No,
Oh.
that's
Totally
from Different Strokes.
It's like I've always wondered where that line came from.
Oh, Drake says the theme song from Children of the Corn.
Oh boy,
Molly.
that was Malachi.
I don't think I know that one.
I'm surprised y'all didn't watch Children of the Corn at Nebraska,
No.
like in the sorority.
Wait, it
house.
was a
like horror
TV
movies.
show?
Huh?
It was a TV show?
Now there's a movie. Children of the Corn.
Yeah, we know the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought they were saying it was a TV show. I was like, I didn't know there was a TV show.
Love Boat. That was kind of, I mean, I know it's in the name, but Love Boat was a little kind of pushing some boundaries back in the day, weren't they? Who was the black guy that had the bushy mustache? What was his name?
Oh, the Isaac.
Isaac.
Mm-hmm. He was the bartender.
Yes. I was like, ooh, I bet Isaac's got some stories. I bet Isaac did really well on the Love Boat.
Are you talking about tips or just in general?
All of the above, Pat. I think Isaac probably did pretty well. MacGyver. Thank you, Alan. I love MacGyver. Now, that dude could have gotten Gilligan and the gang off the island.
Yeah, if MacGyver had been shipwrecked.
Conrad's like, I don't.
Oh, no, I know all about MacGyver.
Okay.
And MacGruber.
Inspector Gadget. Da-da-da-da-da. Thank you, Andrew.
It's a very underrated movie.
Yes.
Johnny says Bentley was the doorman of the Jeffersons. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Laverne and Shirley. All right, keep them rolling in. Oh, Brad Chandler. I remember that one. Life Goes On.
Don't know if I remember that one.
You don't remember Life Goes On? You'll remember it. I'll share it with you in the break. We'll continue. More of the text, more of your phone calls welcome as well. Here on this Reaction Monday, 3-man front and Jocks 94.5.
Another classic, Hawaii Five-0. Of course, it was brought back a few years ago on CBS, a newer version.
I watched that one.
Leave this one going. This one's good.
Makes you want to learn how to surf.
I can see Landrum out at Waikiki Beach doing the hula.
Yeah.
Hanging 10.
That's right. If you're up to no good, I'm going to get to the bottom of it before this 60-minute episode runs out.
We're taking your calls and your text messages. 1-800-239-WJOX. Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. We've got the NFL draft coming up on Thursday. A reminder, Molly and myself, we will be there at Trim Tab starting at 6 o'clock. The draft, the first pick will take place a little bit after 7 o'clock. So we'll be there. Come on by and see us there at Trim Tab. Tonight here on Jocks 94.5, the Braves start a 3-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals. That is first pitch a little bit after 6 o'clock. You can hear Barrett Slee on the pre- and post-game show, one of our regulars on Friday here at Jocks 94.5.
They're on Twitter at the number 3-man front, at Landrum Roberts, at Pat Smith Radio, at Conrad VO Radio, at Golly Miss Molly R. E. Robinson has challenged us. Can you do this without Googling or searching for the fill in the blank? Temporary layoffs, good times. Easy credit ripoffs, good times. Scratching and surviving, good times. Blank, good times. And then that's followed by aren't lucky we got them, good times. So what was that fourth one? Pat is thinking for our
This is a
radio
theme
listeners.
song?
Mm-hmm. Do you have good times that you could pull up? Art Vandelay, Silver Spoons. Yeah. Ricky Schroeder had a train that ran through his house.
That was cool.
That was cool.
I always wanted that.
Here we go.
I think he found it.
So good, Conrad. Times.
What was
We're all like, I don't know what she said.
All I could, it sounded like she said hanging in a trolley. That couldn't have been it.
Close enough. That's what we're going with.
If you're the 9th caller right now, that's pretty good. I have no idea. I can.
Oh, it says somebody texted in hanging in a chow line.
Oh, hanging in a chow line. Okay, I was close with trolley.
Wait, no. What did you say? Well, okay. Temporary layoffs, easy credit ripoffs, scratching and surviving, hanging and jiving. Hanging and a jiving.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So that's the actual lyric. Somebody called in and said, what? Hanging in a chow line?
Oh, we have like 10 people that just texted in. That's what it is.
Hanging in a chow line.
According to this, it says hanging and a jiving.
It's kind of like the Elton John lyric. What was it? Was it?
Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of texts telling me it's hanging in a chow line.
What? Where he says Tiny Dancer, not Tony Danza?
Yeah, hold me close.
Wait, he didn't say Tony Danza?
I thought, hold me close, old Tony Danza.
That's what it sounds like.
So it's not hanging in a chow line.
It's hanging and jiving.
Hanging and jiving. All right, E. You can. Let's see. He is, hanging and jiving. All right,
that's
there
what
it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep them coming in.
All right.
205-834-9450. Now the phone lines are lighting up. I wish we had something to give away for this, but we're just giving away laughs and good memories. 800-239-WJOX. It's 3-man front on a Reaction Monday TV show theme songs. The best you've ever heard. Burn on the grill.
According to Rolling Stones magazine, that is the number 1 theme song in all of television history.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a good one. 1-800-239-WJOX.
Molly,
GMC
have you ever
text
tried
line.
to cook beans on a grill?
I don't like beans, so no.
205-834-9450.
Oh, Big Bang Theory. Andrew, text again. Bare naked ladies. Yeah, pretty good. I always like Gunsmoke and Lost in Space. Thanks, J. Ray. Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Carol Burnett Show. Three's Company. Which one? Which one? It's kind of the same question. Marianne and Ginger. Which one? Would it have been
Suzanne Summers?
Suzanne Summers.
Somebody needs to call on the Paul Feinbaum show today and ask Paul about his, just ask him about Suzanne Summers. See what he says.
Okay. Now, was she the one that, yeah, she did Thigh Master, right?
Mm-hmm.
The infomercials for Thigh Master.
Made a lot of money off that.
But Sally Struthers did the infomercial for the Feed the Children, correct? Is the S's. Oh, wow. Tim says, I thought 2 Tickets to Paradise was actually 2 Chickens to Paralyze. What?
It's a much different song in that context.
You were hanging out with Conrad and his buddies.
Yeah.
James asking, has the theme song from Chips been mentioned? Can you find that one, Conrad? Sorry, on the fly.
Yeah.
Do you not remember it off the top of your head? You, Chips?
I think I would get it wrong.
It is very 70s music.
Yeah.
Remember I was playing you the Rockford Files during a commercial break?
Yeah.
It's very, the synthesizers and stuff like that involved. It's very 70s. You see Poncherello getting on the back of his.
Punch, man.
Yep.
I like this one.
Can you dance to this? Molly is dancing.
They wrote more than tickets, those two.
They sure did. Nothing screams California Highway Patrol like this song.
It's a good one. I like it.
It's not bad.
A little solo there.
Some people still saying hanging in a chow line. Okay. But what was the
Hanging and jiving?
hanging
That's
and
what it
jiving?
really is.
Okay. So it's not hanging in a chow line. Yeah.
I'm trusting Pat.
No, I am too. I couldn't remember
That's
which
just
one
what
we decided
one
with.
site that gave me lyrics to the song. So.
Mission Impossible, that one thrown out there. Tim asking, oh, nobody mentioned Family Ties.
Mm-hmm.
Or Growing Pains. Again, though, those, I think if you asked me to recite one, I would probably recite one that was the other show. Family Ties. I'm trying to think right now. But with that music going in the background, there's no way I can do it. Bonanza. The Three Stooges. We've gotten a few votes for the Three Stooges.
It's a good one.
Bewitched.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Starsky and Hutch. I didn't see any Charlie's Angels.
So did I Love Lucy not have a very iconic thing? I just felt like somebody would have brought that up by now. I guess it wasn't a fan favorite.
I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
What was the controversial? She said pregnant? They said pregnant on I Love Lucy? And before that, it was with child. That was the only thing that was acceptable.
Yeah, and they could not, they had their beds separate.
They had separate beds, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Knight Rider, A-Team, and Chips. Andrew goes with Popeye. Oh, I cannot believe we missed this one. Especially me. Shame on me. Robin from Leeds, Golden Girls theme.
That's a good one.
Can't believe you didn't say that.
I know. Used to, for folks that are just now joining the show or haven't listened over the span of the show, When I would go and I would stay with my grandmother, my dad's side, she loved Dallas. She loved Falcon Crest. She loved her some Golden Girls. And back in those days, there were a lot of households that only had one TV. You had the one TV. There might have been one upstairs, but if you wanted to watch TV, you were watching what Meemaw was watching. Meemaw loves some Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
Yeah. David and Pelham says Dukes of Hazzard. We'll have to pull up the Golden Girls because it's a really good one. What's the Michael J. Fox sitcom? That would have been Family Ties. I'm guessing that's the one you're referencing. Andy Griffith Show. Another Dukes of Hazzard. Baywatch.
That's a good one.
Is that all instrumental?
Yes, from what I remember. Well, I've seen very limited clips of that show.
Yeah.
You just watched the opening as they were running in slow motion on the beach?
Correct. Great intro.
They saved a lot of lives on that show.
And mine when I was 11.
I felt like they got involved in some things that they probably had no business getting involved in, though. Solving murders.
Yeah, that probably not made for a lifeguard, but
no,
not today's lifeguard.
That was a heck of a lifeguard crew they had. Yeah, getting a lot of different strokes. Charles in Charge. That's a good one, Eric. Thank you. Conrad, how about Hee Haw?
Still haven't seen Hee Haw.
Oh.
That's Molly's show.
That's my show.
Wonder Years. Multiple Cosby Show intros. Wide World of Sports, Pat.
That's iconic. Yep.
And then Wonder Years. Whoa, what'd you do? Wait, is that it? Debbie Gray? Was that Wonder Years?
Yes. I believe that's correct.
I think you should keep going so that we can figure it out.
A little help from my friend. Fat Albert. Dave in Hoover. Love Boat. Can't read that one. Country Boy Eddie. That was a mainstay. Keep them rolling in. Conrad, we do need a break, right? Sorry. You just don't want to ask on the air, but thought in this case we probably should. 205-834-9450. Three-man front continues. All-time great TV show theme songs. This three-man front continues here on this Reaction Monday. It was a question that was asked starting with WKRP and Pat Ponders in the 12 o'clock hour, and then it spawned into this. A lot of you giving your favorite TV shows of all time and their theme songs. 205-834-9450. We'll get back to your phone calls as well, but before I do so, I promised our listeners that I would tell them if Prize Picks, our friends, and your way to have daily fantasy experiences with sports. How about that? Yeah. You got the basketball playoffs. You got Major League Baseball across all sports. It's not just those two. You can peruse the site, but you have to download Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the app. When you do so, you fill out all of your information. Make sure you enter promo code WJOX. And when you use promo code WJOX, you're going to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, Prize Picks, you can run your game all season long. I am going Major League Baseball tonight. Pat, I'm going to ask for your assistance. Nick Castellanos and the crazy trend of, unfortunately, what would you categorize it as? Just tragedies?
His success during unfortunate events.
Right. If you go through some of the unfortunate events that have occurred not only in this country, but worldwide on certain days, Nick Castellanos always seems to flourish. Tonight, Nick Castellanos and the Phillies taking on the Mets. This is what I found at Prize Picks. More or less 1.5 hits plus runs batted in. So just a combination of those. He has to have more or less than 1.5. I think it's easy.
More.
All right, so we're going more there. Spencer Schwellenbach.
More.
You're just going to go ahead and say more. You don't even know. Taking on your Cardinals. Pitching for the Braves. 5.5 strikeouts, more or less. Fetty is listed at 4, but you're going to say more.
Less.
All right. We're going to roll with that. Once again, download Prize Picks. Also, the basketball playoffs are here. The action is heating up there with Prize Picks. It's the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. We appreciate our friends at Prize Picks coming up tomorrow. They have some daily specials as well. They've got the every Tuesday Prize Picks discount, several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25%. For their Taco Tuesday. And speaking of that, we're going to be at Social Taco tomorrow. Appreciate our friends at Prize Picks.
So over the weekend, the University of Tennessee, supposedly, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, offered TCU starting quarterback Josh Hoover a deal of excess of $1 million to come to Knoxville and compete for the starting job at the University of Tennessee now that Nico has gone to UCLA. Well, Josh Hoover turned that offer down. Steve Angeli, who is a backup quarterback for Notre Dame, he was supposedly on Tennessee's radar. He is now visiting Syracuse. So then the question is, where's Tennessee going to go? Well, how about Aguilar, who was the quarterback from App State, who went to UCLA, got $1.2 million to be the Bruins' new starting quarterback. He went into the portal this morning because Nico is now at UCLA. So where will Aguilar and where will Tennessee choose to go now in regards to their quarterback situation? So worth watching over the course of the next few days.
Back to theme songs. Let's go to our friend, Joe Leonard. Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Joe, what's happening?
Hey, I feel ancient as we bring out these old TV themes.
That's all right.
I mean, way back, I used to have a cassette tape of most of them.
Did you really?
Yeah, going way back. Even those old Westerns before even I was born, like Maverick, Cheyenne.
Okay.
And you move into some of the other ones that were a little bit later, like the High Chaparral.
Okay. Bonanza was a good one.
Throw out a couple of sci-fi ones I haven't heard. The original Twilight Zone.
Good one.
The Outer Limits, the original. And the new one was pretty good. And, they had a reboot of the Twilight Zone in the 80s, and the Grateful Dead did that one.
I did not know that.
Sort of crazy. And I'll give you one more. Robert Conrad in the Wild Wild West.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Before Obviously, Will Smith was in the movie. Yep.
Yeah, the movie that was really panned by the critics.
Yeah, did not do very well. Those are all great suggestions. We appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Joe. Hope to see you. Hope to see you and everyone else there at Social Taco on Tuesdays.
Some of these I'm not familiar with. Someone threw out the Roseanne theme song, which trying to remember the Roseanne theme song. Do you remember it?
I don't.
Right offhand?
Nope.
Rat Patrol?
Don't remember that one.
No.
No, there's Lantern's favorite song.
Down the road and back again. Invited everyone you knew. It would be from me. Oh, Blanche and the girls, they were always just getting into stuff. Who would have thought Betty White?
But it was funny when Betty White did the show. I mean, they portrayed all of the actresses like they were in their 70s and 80s. And if I'm not mistaken, I think most of them were in their mid-50s.
Yeah, Estelle Getty, she played.
She was the oldest. I think she was like 79 or 80.
But
everybody else, the Betty White and everyone else, they were in their early 50s.
It's just the opposite of everything now. You know, you'll have some guy playing a high schooler and he's 35 years old portraying an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't.
That's true.
Don't buy that one.
We appreciate everybody chiming in today, man. We have got probably 100 text messages that we have not even been able to get to today.
Over 100.
We always appreciate you guys tuning in and participating on a daily basis. Hope to see you at Social Taco tomorrow. Paul Feinbaum is off. David Hell is filling in for Paul coming up in just a couple of minutes. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, you can hear the Braves taking on the Cardinals in the first of three.
Come on, guys. Get it done. Bragging rights on the show. From all of us to all of you, thanks for your interaction. Keep it right here. Jock 94.5. David Hale doing his best. Paul Feinbaum next.